It's time for a little Funky Friday. From their funky hidden headquarters, your hosts, Keith and Gerry. I freaking love that thing. Anyway,
me too.
Hey guys, welcome to another TGIF on Pop Culture Minefield. My partner in crime is not here. My assumption is he worked the graveyard shift and he's probably still asleep. So we're going to go without him. And it looks like we got a few people in the audience. I'm going to check to see if we got any questions yet. Jedi 6. Let's see. Howdy to all the wonderful chat members and panelists. Also, hi, Gerry. And say hello to Graham Nolan, Jedi 6. Graham Nolan is the one of the parents. It's an all-male parenthood of Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan with Bane.
Bane has two daddies.
Yeah, two daddies. And Graham's a friend of mine. I'm grateful to have him and Chuck in my life. And here's the rule. If you become friends with Chuck, you inevitably become friends with Graham Nolan. It's just like this thing. It's a rule somewhere.
Awesome.
And of course, being friends with them, I became friends with a lot of people from Kelly to, Dave Dorman I was already friends with, but I would have become friends with him because of Graham. So, but Graham, I hear you do comic books. Is that what you do?
I'm trying to break in. Trying to break in.
Trying to break into it. One day, we're close to the same age. I think you're a little more successful. And of course, Keith showed up.
Hey, Keith.
Keith is
Hello.
Hey, Keith.
Hey, how are you, Graham?
Good.
And while we've got it up here, I'm going to go ahead and share this screen. We have your new campaign, which is just kicking ass, my friend.
Thank you.
Kicking ass. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Graham Nolan's Alien Alamo.
That looks great.
A father and son battle to save the world as well as their relationship in 1957 Texas. And if John Wayne were alive, he would be in it.
Now, Graham, I got to ask, what part of Texas does this take place in?
Western Texas.
I live in West Texas. Right now, I'm coming to you live from West Texas.
Are you near El Paso, that area?
Oh, my God. No, that's about 8 hours east of me.
East of you. Oh, okay. Well, you up in the mountain area?
Kind of central. About 3 hours south of Dallas. About 4, 5, 6 hours from Houston, a few hours from Austin. I'm in Texas, so we measure everything in the time it takes to get there. Like I'm only 30 minutes from Robert E. Howard's house.
Oh, wow. Where was that, Plano?
No, that's in, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. But it's, it's nearby.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's the audience poking fun at me. How far are we into? Are we past the first tier on your book?
Yeah, the stretch goals, you mean?
Yeah. Are you hitting any of the stretch goals yet?
Oh, we've hit about 6 of them.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Cross Plains. Yeah. About 30 minutes from Cross Plains. That's where Robert E. Howard's house is. He's actually buried in Brownsville, which I've also visited. Or Brownwood. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to go ahead and play this video for everybody.
Please. No volume.
Oh, that's
we
not
got
good.
another boomer moment.
You, my friend, can choke on a bag of dicks. Okay.
He warned us to be on our best behavior, but that might start getting a little difficult.
It's
Our
true.
best behavior is
I threatened them.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't pull any of your shit today.
He's like,
totally
make
did.
sure you don't fanboy. So my next thought is just to completely ignore who you are, like, oh, sorry, what do you do? Yeah.
It's hard not to fanboy. This is the guy who co-created Bane, my favorite fucking Batman character ever.
Yeah, that was in Superman, right?
Well, he also worked on Spider-Man, so.
Ooh.
That's
Wow.
fucking cool.
Wow.
That is
I
fucking
feel like
cool.
my thing from another world burning.
Yeah, and
Nice.
now one of the things that because you and I've talked about this before is casting our favorite actors as the comic characters in there. And I, right off the top, spotted Sam Elliott, for God's sakes.
That's what I was
Sure.
thinking.
Yeah.
But I don't know
Yeah.
who. Now, I'm thinking that might be the kid from The Rifleman. But I don't know
Yep.
who the dad is.
Yeah. The dad is based on John Krasinski.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I
was
expected
looking
something
for
more
some-
old school from you, so that's cool.
Well, the concept started out as a version of the Rifleman, but
I spotted that right off.
yeah, I mean, because I
Mhm.
love the relationship, the father and son relationship in the Rifleman, and originally I was going to bring it into modern day, and then I came into the idea of exploring like World War II PTSD in the father as well. So I put it in 1957 because that's when we reached into space with Sputnik. And so the father would still be a young man from World War II, and he's not getting along with his kid because of, his PTSD. And so this alien invasion is what's going to bring the two of them together. It's the war he didn't know he needed to connect with his son again. And so I was thinking John Krasinski because he's got, if you look at him in that Tom Clancy show he does on Amazon, what's that called?
Jack Ryan.
That's-
Jack Ryan.
Yeah, Jack Ryan.
Yeah. He's got that kind of hound dog look, like the way his eyebrows go. He sort of always has like a sort of a world weary look on his face, and that's what I was looking for. So that's who I cast. Plus, if they ever made the movie now, he'd be perfect.
He'd be perfect for the part. There you go.
Yeah, he would.
I think we all kind of get guilty of doing that, and I don't consider that guilty. I think it's fun. One of the most fun things that I do is to cast actors when I'm doing my comics. I can vindicate it.
It helps.
It's a lot easier to do now because of how big comics are in Hollywood right now. So it gets
also-
a little easier.
It also helps because building the biography of your character, when you base it off of somebody, it really makes life a lot easier in creating your books. Because I've talked to Chuck about that too. And you know what, by the way, I want to do this when we're not promoting like one of your things. I just want to fucking have you and Chuck on a show and just
Yes.
sit down and just start poking you guys like bears.
No, okay, Gary, you're showing your familiarity because, I don't refer to him as Chuck. I refer to him as Chuck fucking Dixon. Thank you.
I just refer to him as that fucking guy.
Yeah, when you become friends with people, like my daughter freaked out one time because like my best friend kept calling me fuckface. And she's like, why do you answer to him when he says that to you? And I'm like, that's what he's called me since the Army.
Yeah.
He's never
It's
called
meant
me
with
by my
love.
name.
It's
It
meant with
is.
love.
What does everybody think of the green screen yet still behind Keith?
Oh, he's still hiding hookers back there.
I think he is.
I thought he was broadcasting from the shower.
If I get control over doing effects with you, I'm going to put a shower cap on top of you instead of the hat.
Oh, yes. Do that.
I like your backdrop, Graham, but you're in your studio. I know you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he shoots from. I love it when his dogs wander in.
Aw.
Pumpkin?
Yeah. And I love the fact that you also have like one of those things I talked about last time we talked was you have one of those art dresser things that you pull a flat drawer
flat
out.
folder?
Yeah,
Flat file?
freaking love those things. I'm like, I wish I had one of those things. I don't keep my artwork. I occasionally put my shit up on the wall, but I just I don't know. I've always wanted those things because, like, when you die, we're all gonna die. That's gonna pretty much take care of your family for the rest.
I hope so. That's why I stopped selling my artwork years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
at the rate
it's
I'm
like-
going, I'll be able to retire when I'm, 80, 90 maybe.
If
for
only
like
you
a whole
had
5 minutes.
If only you had an actual talent.
I know. Poor talentless bastard who will be forgotten.
Okay, Graham, I'm going to introduce you to our good friend, Fat Steven Seagal.
Hello,
And
Stephen.
Graham, it is an honor and a pleasure to finally meet you, sir.
Nice.
I was hoping you'd show up.
I was finishing up a stream, but yes, I've watched you many a times on Heel versus Babyface.
Oh, yeah, that's a good show.
It is.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yep. A bit limey for me.
Yeah, he is indeed.
No, I love his show. I also watch the other British guy, the rabbi from another planet. I don't know if you guys have ever watched him.
Seen his, no.
He's a bit of a screamer at times. He reminds me of Mark Levin when Mark Levin loses his cool on the air.
Oh, okay.
And he just gets really loud. And I'm like, oh my God, move away from the mic.
Ooh,
But-
Fat Steven?
No, Jesus Christ. Stop talking, John. But our other friend here I haven't mentioned is Yeti Cast. Yeti's also a big fan of yours.
He's not
And-
actually our friend. We just keep him around because he looks cute.
I got to tell you, if you ever watch our show, Graham, it is mostly us shitting on each other. That's all we do. It's like a daily roast of each other. We never run out of mean things to say. But I'm so grateful for you coming on. I want to promote your channel too, because in fact, can you send the link through the private chat to our girl?
Sure.
Either Kate or Jedi 6, and I think Natasha is here. They're all capable of sharing that link.
They're all leaving my stream. They were helping mod. They're coming over here now. I was actually in the middle of ending a Fortnite stream when I got the StreamYard, so I apologize.
Perfect.
On that.
Oops.
Don't judge me for Fortnite though.
My bad.
Oh,
No, I
it's
do
all
that all the time.
professional over here.
We
God
you know,
damn it. It's not supposed
what
to
I
be
love
doing-
is that when I met Graham Nolan, he had a PG mouth.
He
and I
never
feel
had a
that-
PG mouth.
You have had PG mouth on Facebook, and the first time I saw
on
you
Facebook,
use
yeah.
the F-bomb, I'm like going, I hope that was me that rubbed off on you that caused you to do that.
No,
Because
it's
I'm
like-
so gnarly. I'm
I
so
grew up in New
gnarly.
York. My dad was a cop.
That's right, he was. Okay, here we go.
There we go. I just sent it in.
And I'm going to share this with the ladies. And but basically, let's go back to this story. What's the origin of wanting to do this?
Alien Alamo?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, comics was starting to tank as a business. Marvel and DC were under a lot of problems. There wasn't any work coming out. And I just gotten done doing the Expendables Go to Hell with Chuck Dixon and Richard Meyer. And that was really successfully crowdfunded, and I got a look at that, and I was like, well, you know what, I got to position myself for success because, you know, I can't rely on these corporate
Gigs, right?
yeah, anymore. So
Someone has an
I had-
echo, first of all. Sorry to cut in, but someone has a major echo in their mics.
is it me?
Test? No, it's
Test.
not you.
Okay.
Is it me?
Test.
Let me mute mine.
Testing. Yeah, it's you.
Yes.
I don't know how I'm wearing a headset.
That's weird. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the whole storyline. It was just.
Oh, that's okay.
Picked up.
So I had two properties that I had actually proposed to other publishers, and they both turned them down. One was the Chenoo, and the other was Alien Alamo. And so I started first with the Chenoo because I thought it would be an easier sell being a horror comic, and that did really, really well. And then I decided to kind of create my own universe, my own horror, monster, supernatural universe, and tie all these books together. So the Alien Alamo came about from my love of The Rifleman. And as I said earlier, I wanted to do the story of a father and son, you know, a single father raising a son. And originally it was going to be modern day. And then I decided to put it back in 1957 so that he could be a World War II vet, and so that I could center it at the time when we as a people reached out into space. and space reached back. So it seemed like the perfect setting to do it would be in 1957. And then, it just evolved from there into, an action sci-fi, because selling straight Western's hard.
Uh-oh.
So I cross
Uh-oh,
on
Graham.
it into
You froze up, Graham.
Natural monster universe.
You froze up, Graham. Go back just a couple steps.
It's okay. He's just nervous
Oh,
around
okay.
us. That's all.
What was the last thing you heard?
How sexy I was.
Yeah, no, you were talking about the whole
Selling
thing
Selling
with
straight
Texas.
westerns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
straight
yeah.
westerns from Texas.
Yeah, that's a tough sell. So I want to do a cross genre and bring the science fiction aspect in, so that it connected to this universe that I wanted to do.
Oh, so you're doing some world building here.
Yeah, every one of these books. What I didn't want to do is sequels, because when you spend 8 months on a book, you're not looking forward to doing another 8 months with the same environments, the same characters and stuff. So I wanted to keep everything fresh, but I wanted to connect it. So there's no sequels, but they're all spin-offs. So Alien Alamo will connect to the Chinook. And then the third book, The Ghosts of Matacumba Key, will connect to Alien Alamo, which will connect to the Chinook. So there'll be characters that are coming back from the Chinook that are going to be the star.
I like that idea. Yeah, that's
That
a cool
sounds
idea.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
So-
did have one question, Graham, with all these.
Sure.
Once you have all the connections done, are you planning in the future to do an animated kind of version of all the stories and get
That would
actual
be
people
cool.
to voice it? I know a lot of people aren't into the whole interactive comic style, but this could actually be something that could be visually stimulating from
Well,
both sides.
I'm a big fan of motion comics.
Yeah, that's
So
I haven't seen any that I liked, but I haven't seen too many. So I really don't know. I'm thinking in terms of just creating these intellectual properties that could maybe be turned into shows or movies and stuff like that, and interconnect them that way.
Yeah, this would be an easy one to go straight to a series on HBO or something.
yeah, and this
Or-
falls
or on
right into
Netflix.
that. This falls into that category of what all of us have talked about in our comic artist group, about how with the collapse of the comic industry, which you were talking about, how independence. This is a good time for independence to start coming up and building something.
Mhm. Well,
I like
we
what you're
think
doing.
about, there's been a few deaths of the comic industry. There was the DC implosion in the 1970s. There was, of course, the 1950s, where everything crapped the bed then, and Stan was on his way to firing everybody until he and Jack came up with the Fantastic Four, and DC came up with the Flash, a reinvention of the Flash. But the problem was that you still didn't have a lot of opportunities if you were a creator, and you were still beholden to a distribution system that was locked up. Today, the paradigm has changed, and with technology, we're able to bypass distribution and get product directly to our fan base, and promote it ourselves too. We don't have to wait for a company to do a crappy job of promoting our work. We can do it ourselves. As bad as it is to think about Marvel and DC, licensing out their characters, because that's where they're going to end up. They're going to stop publishing, I think, and license the characters out. It's still a great time. It's a better time than ever to create, because of the technology allowing us to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this-
Would you be?
Go ahead, Keith.
Would you also be interested in novels and full cast audio and other ways of expanding and getting your characters and ideas out there? Or are you strictly just aiming for comics for now and eventually going into television and film?
Well, right now I'm at the very beginning, so I'm building up my library. So before I can think of anything else, I really have to concentrate on that, because if that has to be the quality part. After that,
Yeah.
then I can explore other mediums and other things and other ideas, and even possibly publishing other people's work. Like right now, I'm thinking of just I'm just doing my own publishing of my own concepts and work. But as this takes off, and if it becomes more and more successful, then I might consider bringing other people.
Uh-oh.
It's that New York connection. Yeah.
Did I freeze again, or was it you?
Yeah, you froze, but it's okay. It made John stare at you for a bit longer because he's got such a boy
We have
crush on
we have a
you.
windstorm going on
What can I
here.
say?
I have
Oh,
a
do
question.
you?
I have,
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Graham. Like,
Yeah.
out of all the stuff you're doing right now with the stories all intertwining, is there a favorite moment that made you start doing this, and how it came to fruition from that thought or idea?
Do you mean structurally, like story wise?
No, I want to know what triggered the inspiration and how it came to be, and what his favorite moment of creating this universe within the 1957 Western.
Well, it came to be because there's no other opportunities. The DC wasn't calling, Marvel wasn't calling.
That's just sad.
Yeah.
So basically, it
It's
was
sad on
hungry.
so many
I'm
different
hungry.
levels.
I
Have
need to
you
feed
seen-
somebody.
Have you seen Marvel lately? Let's look at Children of the Atom.
Ooh.
Well, that's the other aspect of it, is that even if they were calling, I would be hesitant to answer the phone because I hate everything that they do. I don't recognize the characters. They're so woke and virtue signaling, and SJW publishing seems to be all that they're interested in doing. I just don't want to even be a part of that stuff.
Then,
And by the way, Jedi 6 said something, and I want to show it again. EVS is excellent at promoting comics, and I think that you and EVS will get along really well. Ethan Van Sciver.
I'm friends with Ethan. I've been on his show a million times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
do you,
Ethan.
Do you think there's a possibility for the avatar I have right now to make a better comic as Steven Seagal gimmick? Do you think that would look better?
My
You
question to you is, what other influences will you be using in upcoming comics? Now, you definitely are a fan of the Rifleman. Is there any other influences, television shows, what other else that you have watched in the past? Are you looking at?
My whole universe is based on horror and monsters because that's where I started. Before I was a comic book fan, I was a monster kid. And I found out about comics through advertising and stories in monster magazines about what was happening in the comics community back in the early 1970s. And then I eventually got into comics. So I wanted to do comics about genres and stuff that weren't being covered anymore, but stuff that I loved, So my stuff, has a classic sci-fi monster feel to it, That's the kind of stuff I
love that. It's like that book that I'm doing with Richard Bonk is so inspired by classic Universal horror. Specifically, with my writing on that one is The Thing, the original Thing, not John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
Even though I'm also a big fan of that one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of the things I've always shared with our friendship is you and I have a passionate love for classic horror and John Wayne movies.
Mm-hmm.
And as I recall, wait a sec, I can't remember. Searchers is my favorite John Wayne film. What is yours?
The Quiet Man.
Quiet Man. God, that's a great movie. Oh, did you like that documentary I sent you?
I haven't watched it yet. Oh wait, yes, I have. I have watched it because I have it on. It's on the Quiet Man Blu-ray.
Yeah, because it is.
I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
I was so shocked when I saw that. I was like, I gotta watch this. And then I sent a copy of it to your wife, and I'm like, yeah, you got. I want to know how. And then, of course, I forget to circle back and ask you guys what you think. So, but
the High Holy Day was 2 weeks ago, St. Patrick's Day, and we of course watched it then.
Oh my God!
I also have to say, sorry.
No, I'm just saying every St. Patty's Day, I have 3 films I watch, and that's one of the 3. There's that other dumb one. I don't like her as a person, but Janine Garofalo did this movie about going to Ireland, and she falls in love with the wrong guy, and it's just one of those films I just really like. But God, I can't stand her. But hey, Mexican Iron Man. wrote, "Hi, Gerry." That's why I laughed. It's like everybody knows I'm not Gerry, but I think he's fucking with me. Thanks to a great Steven and YetiCast for the invite, Mr. Nolan. I'm your uber fan and collector since Bane and your JLA crossovers through today. I own all sets of Chinu Monster and can't wait for my Alamos to arrive. Thank you, sir. And also, I can tell you that if you want to get them signed, find out where Graham's going to be appearing, and he will sign those for you. Because he's a good guy.
Well, the Chinu was all signed. All those books were signed. It was part of the stretch goals. And that's probably going to happen with Alien Alamo, too. We're going to hit a stretch goal, and all those books will get signed.
Nice.
I will say one thing about Mexican Iron Man. He does love you a lot. He's a very big pro indie comics and comic lover. And if
I have heard him go on about comic books, and I've heard him talk about Chinu. So
it's Chinu.
Chinu.
Jeez, get it right.
Get my fucking name right, and I'll fucking do it.
All right, Gerry.
I'm not
sorry,
affiliated.
No, I'm sorry, Grant. You get my name right. You've never gotten my name wrong. You're Irish.
I mean, spell it right then, and then we'll be
That
fine.
is the Irish spelling of Gary. It's the original spelling of the name. I keep telling people, I'm just talking out my butthole. No, I fucking know the history of my name and why I have to argue about it.
Well, you silly Paddy, you're not in freaking Ireland anymore. You're in America.
Here we
So
go.
get it
Yeah.
right.
If you listen
leave
very, very
it
close,
to
you
a
can hear me
Cuban to
playing
sound
the
like a
world's false
Pakistani
violin.
doing an Irishman. Just a shit accent.
Hello, tech support here.
You're Packy too.
I'm not trying. I was literally not trying.
And
I
this
did
is the
it last
portion of the
night.
show when he regrets coming on.
Yes, Graham, I'm so sorry. But no, it's like last night I did the three proper Irish accents that I learned living over there.
Oh, God,
Which
here we
is
go.
I'm not doing it again. Fuck you. The further north you go, it's got more of the influence from the English. Dublin has like its own thing. It's got a weird pattern because my godfather is from Dublin, and he'll say like the funniest things. Like he doesn't say 3:30. He says 3:30.
3:30.
3:30. There's still a sound, and he'll go, "Well, meet us over at the rectory around 3:30." And I'll go 3:30, and he'll go, "No, 3:30. I didn't say 3:30." And I'm like, that's all I'm hearing. And he always says my name correctly because he has the same name, Gary. Gary, he says, Gary, how are you? God love you, son. God love you. That's my priest, my godfather. And then, of course, the further south you get Barry Fitzgerald type brogues, where they start going, "Oh, it's a beautiful day out here today."
Okay, Gary, you finished monopolizing the guest.
He's my fucking friend. Shut up.
You can talk to your friend any other time you want to, but it's our turn
I
too.
even broke out my Batman mug for you, Graham.
So Graham, I apologize, and I'm not affiliated with the nonsense that's going on right now. How are you today, sir? Are you doing well?
Now, I
Are you
think
having
Graham
fun?
was looking forward to that because he knows how silly we are. So let's see if we got
Graham,
anything from the
I do have some serious questions for you that were shot to me by a cousin of mine who Gary loves dearly. But the first question he wanted to know about was he wanted to ask you about the Batman-Spider-Man crossover book that you did.
Yeah.
He didn't have any specific questions, so I guess he just wanted you to talk about it.
Oh, okay. That book has a kind of a neat history for me because it was offered to me by Scott Peterson because that book was under DC's control. The first one was under Marvel's. And I made the decision to draw all the Bat characters the way I drew the Bat characters and to do all the Spider-Man characters the way John Romita did Spider-Man characters.
Nice.
So I married the two styles because Romita's Spider-Man and was like the Spider-Man for me as a kid. So fast forward a couple of years, I'm at San Diego Comic-Con and Chuck Dixon comes up to me. I was at the DC booth and Chuck says, "Hey, Romita just sat down at his table." And I'm like, "Oh shit, great." So I excused myself. I said, "Hey man, I'll I'll be back in a minute, and I'll finish signing all this stuff. And I went over and I stood in line in Ramita's line. I never met him before. So I get up to him and I just introduced myself. I said, John, my name is Graham Nolan. I'm a huge fan of your work. And he looked up at me and he goes, "You Graham Nolan, the artist?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "I loved your Batman Spider-Man book."
All right.
Wow.
That's where it becomes all worth
I'm
it.
like, I said to him right there, I said, "Oh shit, I can retire now.
There you go.
That's it. I can retire."
Man,
What
it's
makes you?
fantastic.
What I have a question related to that though. What made you come up with the concept of having those two personalities interact?
Oh, it wasn't my concept. I mean, that was something Marvel and DC had planned, and J.M. DeMatteis was the writer on that book.
I must have misinterpreted. My bad. Did you have fun at least doing it though?
Oh, I had a ball. Yeah, I had a ball. Two of my favorite characters, and getting to study Ramita's work a little bit more and try to incorporate that into mine was a lot of fun.
Which one? Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, Keith. After you.
I was just going to say, if you had the opportunity to do it one more time, what would you like to do with Batman and Spider-Man?
Nothing. I've been down that road. Those characters don't really resonate with me anymore because they're not the same as I remember them. They're Batman ever since Dark Knight. I sort of blame Miller for this. Miller started it, but Miller's Dark Knight was supposed to be a one-shot, wasn't supposed to be part of continuity.
Yeah.
And then it became all of continuity. And so now instead of the heroic ideal of a man who sacrificed, he's a millionaire, he could live his life fine, but he sacrifices his life for other people in the truest sense of heroic fiction. Now he's a nihilistic, scumbag who's not much different than the people that he brings in. I don't care for that kind of storytelling when we're talking about superheroes.
Well, if you had the ability to be able to do the character the way that you would like to, though,
Mm-hmm.
Sort of in the vein of the O'Neill Adams run, or any other pre-Dark Knight run, would you do that? Would you want to take the character in that direction?
No, I do the Fantastic Four. That's what I would do.
All right. Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's what I would do. If Marvel ends up licensing out their characters, and they license out Fantastic Four, and I can buy it, I'm gonna fucking take that thing right back to its roots. But I'm gonna modernize it, because the Fantastic Four was about the space race. That's what their origins is, and we have a modern space race right now, but it's corporate, because you have Boeing, and you have SpaceX, and you have other players that are vying for these lucrative government contracts to
Virgin
space vehicles, because NASA's out of that business right now. And I figure Reed Richards is like an Elon Musk type of guy, and he wants those contracts. And so he does what in the Kirby Lee story does, is that he sacrifices things. He makes bad decisions, and he goes up unprepared, and that's how they get exposed and become the Fantastic Four.
So you would try to do it as modern Quatermass a little bit. Reed Richards.
A modern what?
Modern Quatermass.
Quatermass.
Like British film?
Yeah.
I suppose so. I mean, I haven't seen those. I think they call them Quatermass in England, isn't it?
We always called him Quatermass.
Yeah, I think in Britain he's called Quatermass.
He is the inspiration for Doctor Who. A lot of people don't know.
Oh, okay.
And also the show Fringe is pretty much American.
Yeah, Fringe is stolen. It's stolen straight from it. By the way, did you guys hear about this last night? Speaking of space race,
the debris burning in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it made a
was
huge
beautiful.
boom over the Washington, Oregon. And
what was falling?
It was debris from one of the boosters.
Oh,
and what it was finally answered, but it freaked a lot of people out because
But
they
it
were
looked
thinking
beautiful.
it was Alien Alamo.
Yeah.
No shit, there were people freaking out about it last night. I was
It
watching
looked
the news.
so good. The way they captured, you thought it was actually film. It was really well done. I watched that a few times. Like that definitely looks like debris, but it also looks like an intro to a movie you would see.
neat.
It
Yeah.
does.
Oh yeah, the cameras are getting so much better now. We're going to get more of that stuff coming out.
Graham, I know you did some.
Yeah, except when it comes to
sorry.
aliens, it'll all be fuzzy shit because
I know.
Speaking of the aliens, what are your aliens in this? Because they look like little crab creatures.
yeah, they're really based on stink bugs. Because
I know about those.
those
Yeah.
invasive little bastards are a pain in the ass. And here in Western New York, we have an infestation of them come September because they're trying to get into houses to hibernate. And they're attracted to white. And my front porch is white and it faces the sun. You go out 4 o'clock in September on a hot day, on a warm day, and it's covered with these stink bugs. So it's based on stink bugs and crabs.
That's
Well, if
awesome.
you need
like
to know
that.
how to get rid of them, Gerry has a lot of.
Well, first you get
Experience
the little
with crabs.
shampoo and you get a little comb.
I wanted to ask a question, kind of differentiating, but I was reading up, and I know you did some of the freelance work for Dungeons and Dragons. Did you ever have any favorite art pieces from it? Because I know in some of our community are very big D&D players still too.
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah, that was one of my first gigs. Was working for TSR back in the early 1980s,
Mhm.
and I was never a Dungeons and Dragons guy, and I wasn't a Tolkien guy. I was completely out of my element doing that stuff. But there was a few pieces which I thought came out really cool. But I don't really remember what they were.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't my finest hour, I'll tell you that, because it wasn't my gig.
Well, I want to get back to the chat here because they are why we do the show.
Sure.
Let's see.
Hello, Rebecca.
First of all, Mexican Iron Man, he admitted to mispronouncing my name on purpose, but he said this. So
Chanu.
there
He
you go.
pronounced it right. He got that one right.
Now this is Sean Crummell. He's a good friend of ours. He has his own show, but he's also a comic book artist, and I like his style. He's got this cartoony, almost squat figure style that I really like. He reminds me of my buddy Matt McGuire, who's the comic artist for the band Guar, and but he's also a really sharp dude, and I like Sean. So that's it. That's all the nice shit I'm going to say about you, Sean. So fuck off now. Fat Steven Seagal's on our panel, so I'm not going to read his crap. Zach's is really cool. They built leprechaun traps in school this year. I'm glad St. Patrick's Day isn't canceled. And Sean goes, I will fuck off. Okay. All right. Rebecca? Mr. Nolan, were you at the Cincinnati Comic Con at one point in time? I want to say I have a signed Harley print from you.
No. I was never at Cincinnati Con, and I've never done a Harley print. So
Oh,
unless
So-
you might be thinking of Kevin Nolan, who spells it Nowlan.
Nolan.
Nowlan.
Nolan.
So
Nolan.
it's possible it was Kevin Nolan and not me.
And good day. And then Script Doctor, who's normally on our panel. I don't know why he's not joining us. Script is a professional screenwriter. We're not allowed to know his name because of fear of repercussions, because of Hollywood's politics.
I understand that, brother.
So he
We're
says,
closer brothers than you thought.
Yep. Let's see. Agree, Frank Miller's, and this is our friend Greg from Fanzine. Awesome dude. I shit all over him last night on one of our live streams. And agree, Frank Miller's Batman has been used too much. That wasn't Batman to begin with. Correct. It was an interesting
it was a
step off,
great one-off.
but just they should have left it alone and got back to Batman being Batman.
And the worst thing is they made sequels to it, which were just awful.
Do any of you
This
guys
is the
find,
Batman we want.
Do you guys find it odd though that they're not focusing on what he was first known for, was the world's greatest detective, when he's not doing what he usually
Yeah.
does, is focusing on his detective
bugs me.
skills?
It's
It
one of my
bothers-
biggest beefs. Is that
What bothers me is
detective
Fortnite is picking up that skill in that 6th issue that's coming out, right? Fortnite's doing a crossover with DC, right?
Who is?
But they're actually Fortnite, Epic Games,
Oh,
and they're doing a 6-part issue, 6-issue series, and they're actually focusing on his detective skills, solving some of the island's mysteries. I know everyone's Fortnite, but like it's been a while since I've seen a comic focus in on his detective skills. Over other things.
Well, the 70s was the best time for that. Back when he was driving that Corvette-like version of the Batmobile, and he was sneaking around, breaking into places, looking for clues, and
Well,
that was
living
the
downtown
best run.
Gotham. I love that stuff. I love that almost James Bond nature, but
And
still
what's his
with
name
Dark
that's-
Knight Detective.
The guy making the Batman movie, claimed that was the Batman he's making, but we'll see. I
Yeah.
I was just going to bring that up. I'm hoping they
Pattinson
go to
Batman?
that type
Yeah.
of origin.
I just want to see some classic detective comics is really what I
I just
want.
want good writing and quality art. Why is it so
Yes.
hard to get that? I want to be
yeah.
entertained with escapism. I don't want to be entertained with my own thoughts of why I bought this comic.
Yeah. All right. So Mexican Iron Man says, "Oh my God, Indiegogo for licensing fees for Graham Nolan to produce a 100-page graphic novel. I'm in."
I'm not sure what that means.
I don't either.
I think-
Next-
I-
Yo, Mexican Iron Man, you need to explain that.
That's some splaining to do.
Yeah. Hey, Mexican, let me know if you want to just jump in here so you can talk
I
to
can-
Graham for a minute.
Oh,
I can
he's
send
already
him the
he's going to say yes right away.
Send him an invite. Send him
That's
an
what
invite.
I asked in the private chat a while ago.
I'm paying attention to the people that are here
Well, we are.
to watch us, not the ones in the group talking. So that's Keith's job.
Yeah.
Keith, way to not do your job.
I am so
Graham-
sorry.
Graham, I've got another one
Let's
for
see.
you.
As long as no, I'm reading the fucking chat,
Okay, fine.
dude.
Okay,
Fuck
okay.
you.
Okay.
Script Doctor asks, as long as Reed Richards is still 15 plus years older than Sue, I'll be on board. That's of course referring to your comment about doing another Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And Yeti Cast at work, so he can't join us. So Bezos is a villain type. I don't.
Yeah, he could be Doctor Doom. He could be the roommate of Reed Richards.
And
Wow.
they're just
And
loving each
Script
other.
Doctor's a guy that completely agrees with you on your take on Batman. He can't stand the way that they took
he
the
doesn't.
direction.
Yeah.
Well, Batman was Silver, St. Cloud, and Rupert Thorne were great stories.
Yeah.
My
Because
wife
Steve Englehart took it back to the Bob Finger or Bill Finger type stories. He was really tapping into Batman #1, and they even changed the lettering to match that too. The captioning and the first letter being encased in a circle. Just like they did in those early Batman comics. Those were great comics.
Yeah. My wife is in the chat, and she is saying, fun fact, Bruce Wayne and I both are related to Mad Anthony Wayne.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
I'm related to Tarzan.
I am related.
Yeah.
You
to-
must explain.
On my mother's side, one of our relatives was the Earl of Greystoke.
Cool.
Get the hell out of here.
Oh.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's fucking cool, dude.
That is cool.
All I have two things is I'm related to Dashiell Hammett and Theodore Geisel, Dr. Seuss.
Oh, well, those are cool. Racist.
Yeah. Racist. Hey, there's only one racist on this show, and it's the black guy.
Keith,
I can't
how
help
dare
it.
you? Keith, how dare you?
Oh, okay. Well, Graham, this is another cousin question here for you. He said he wanted me to ask you about how you were dropped by the Bat books right before No Man's Land started with Chuck Dixon.
No, I wasn't dropped. I left the book on my own.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
Um,
I was looking to do other things, and I had the opportunity to. I had a couple of years before I had published Monster Island. I'd written and illustrated a book called Monster Island and published it, but I tried to get it syndicated as a newspaper strip, and then King Features approached me about doing one of their pre-existing strips. And I wasn't liking the direction of comics and stuff, and I just decided, well, you know what, I'm gonna explore some other avenues. So I did.
Well, speaking of that
fantastic.
type of thing, what type of advice would you have for new comics writers or artists trying to get into it right now?
Indie.
Indie, yeah, self-publish, crowdfund, create a web comic, build an audience. It's all out there for you to do. It's going to be hard work, to be sure, but it's hard work knocking on the doors of companies that are going to take your IP from you too. So there's no incentive to create for anybody else, because they
One of
own
the
it
best.
outright.
Yeah, one of the best contracts you can get out there right now is really Image, but just do it. A friend of mine once told me, he says, just do it yourself and keep the money. There's ways of promoting. You can do it.
Yeah.
Now, Mexican Iron Man says, "Oh my God, on the way! Stop the taco truck, duck and roll on the way." So
We got Purple Valkyrie in the audience.
it sounds like he's going to be joining us. Rebecca says, "Mr. Nolan, will you come to Cincinnati Comic Con? I need to expand my signed art." Big smiley face.
Sure.
And let's see. Greg says, "I may be related to George Reeves." Just saying.
The one and only
His last
Superman.
name. And Purple Valkyrie has joined us. Hello, Purple Valkyrie.
Hello, Purple Valkyrie.
Good evening, young lady. Kate says, what are the best self-publishing routes?
Well, there's not really routes per se, because you're publishing it yourself. You have to, establish a company. You have to develop a product, and then you have to get it out there. And, there's various ways to do it. I mentioned a few. You could crowdfund it too. That's another option. And that's a good option, actually. So yeah, there's a bunch of different ways of doing it, but there's no one best way, I guess. It all depends on what it is you're selling too. You have to.
Yeah, I found when I do printing, because I don't know who you use for printing. I have a friend, Jeff, that runs OTC printing in Springfield, Missouri, where Keith and I live. Mm-hmm. And he charges really small prices, does saddle stitching as well as perfect
bound. Nice.
Yeah, he's really good at it. But also, because of the work I did for IDW, I found out who they print through over in Korea. And they really, if you get high numbers printed, great freaking prices to where it's under $1 on some of it.
Yeah, but then you got to pay freight, and you have to deal with
they have a San Francisco office,
mm-hmm.
and that's where it all comes out. So you don't get hit by it, because we did that with one of my books, and I'm like, holy crap, it really went well.
Just hope your shit doesn't get stuck in the Suez Canal.
Well, yeah, there's that. I mean, what happened with Joe Frankenstein #1 was there was a dock strike. And so the book ended up shipping a month late because it was stuck on the docks.
Jeez.
That's messed up. That is messed up.
So I only print in the United States.
Yeah.
I keep my money here, and I don't want to go overseas. So,
yeah, I get you. Hey, Steven,
That's
is this something you want to share?
Yeah, just because you brought up Monster Island, I thought people would like to see this. I believe this is the right. Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Nice.
That's no. That's that other guy, Nolan. That's not
No, that's me, but that's not my original one. That's the Pulp 2.0 licensed it.
Really?
And did a version.
I do like that artwork, though.
Thank you.
I want to make that a little bigger there.
That's
There we go.
like that's
Kinda blurry.
I'm focusing on the art. Well, it's a small image.
You really do amazing monsters, man.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit it. It's like I've stolen from you so many freaking times. I only admitted to once because I like your layouts. First of all, you have some of the best layouts I've ever seen outside of Kubert himself.
Wow, thank you.
And I always compliment Richard because you and I share him as a friend, and because Richard is one of the few people that I think inks almost as good as you.
Richard's a very good inker. He's very versatile too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why we like working together. I'm not worthy of his artwork. He seems to think so, but no, you start with the pencils though, and I love your pencils. and you have one of the, one of my personal favorite comic styles going, because you have that almost that classic John Romita style, almost, and I can even see a little bit of Byrne in there.
No, there's no Byrne in there.
You didn't like Byrne?
No. I mean, I liked him fine, but he was never an inspiration to me. There's more Romita and Buscema and Garcia Lopez in my figure work. But the actual...
Oh, he froze up.
Actually, probably over to guys like Roy Crane.
Right.
Definitely no Howard Chaykin.
The cartooniness.
Definitely no Howard. What?
I'm sorry?
Definitely no Howard Chaykin.
No, I love Howard's work, but that graphic design of his, but that's not part of my visual language.
Keith shared an article with me from a site that I don't like, Bleeding Cool, but it was an interesting article, even though the guy that wrote it's kind of an ass because he does the comrade thing, and I just fucking hate guys that do that. Comrade. But he was talking about how Tony. Oh, who was it? Tony Isabella took a shot at Jim Shooter, and I was curious your thoughts on Jim Shooter and any of your experiences with him. What you thought?
I like Jim. I've hung out with him a few times at cons. He's a lot of fun. I never worked for Jim, so. I really can't say what it was like that way. Some people have had some, he has a definite ideas about what he wanted as an editor in chief for storytellers, and some of those restrictions or rules were restrictive to certain artists. I can see both sides there, but as a person, Jim is great, and he's got a wealth of knowledge and stories to tell. And he helped save Marvel back in the 80s.
Yeah, he did.
Late 70s, early 80s. So
that's why I don't have I don't have a problem with him at all.
No,
but I thought Tony Isabella's he didn't want to get into a long discussion, just called him a liar, and I'm like. I look at the guy as what he did. He saved Marvel Comics. He lost me though when he did Secret Wars, because that was what made me give up comic books. I got so angry about it because that was when it became more of a marketing shtick rather than telling good stories. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, if you want to get the rest of this story, you're going to have to buy this shitty comic nobody reads.
Yeah,
and I was, God, I know I'm going to piss people off. I hated fucking Rom. I just couldn't stand that comic.
Okay, we're not friends anymore.
No. Yeah, I told you, people like when I say things like that. And I had to work on Rom once.
I liked Rom, okay? So,
And we were looking for a new panelist at this point in time. So,
Here's a question for you guys. What do you think about Marvel going with, was it Penguin Random House for their new distribution line?
Is that who's distributing it?
I believe it's Penguin.
Yeah.
It's Penguin Random House, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just heard that they had cut ties with Diamond. I didn't know that that's who they announced that was going to be distributing the books.
I believe it was just announced today.
Okay. Interesting. It sounds like, again, they're book distributors, and I think that Marvel thinks that the money's in the graphic novels and the trade paperbacks, because that's where. Quite honestly, the stuff is selling. The actual floppies, those numbers are down. They're way down. So
I'd rather get a whole story. So I'd rather buy GN than floppies.
Yeah, and let's face it. We all stream. We're watching movies and in long form storytelling with streaming TV shows where we can binge watch them and really get into it. And the graphic novel is really that extension. Because you can read the entire story at one sitting. You don't got to wait a month. I can see it.
Yeah, because I don't know. I walked away from comics in 1986 and immediately switched over, thanks to the show's producer, my buddy Jim Woodward, to graphic novels almost immediately. And I agree with Sean that the industry should have switched to graphic novels years ago and just gotten away from the monthly floppies.
Mhm.
Well, it doesn't help that Marvel is just filled with coffee houses and talking about their feelings in half the panels these days. That doesn't
Right.
help anything.
Wait, I think you're
Mhm.
mistaking that for Star Trek Discovery. I think you got those confused.
They're all the same.
They're all the same right now.
They're all written by the same type of people.
Yep.
Let's all cry and talk about our feelings.
I have a
Oh,
question.
I've got some good news. We got a better Mexican joining the group. So, John, you are now the failed Mexican.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would like to ask a question though. Like, where has let's say if we're going through the comics and the way they've tried to go towards TVs and movies, can you remember the point where you think they've started to fail at living up to what the comic adaptation should be for the hero and villain, and where do you think they gave up on? Do you
Thor Ragnarok, no doubt about it.
you think that's what they sold out?
They destroyed the Hulk. They destroyed Thor. They made it a joke, and to me, that was the beginning of the end.
Preach.
Okay, I can see that. Do you have
So,
a favorite,
welcome to
though?
the show, Mike.
Brother, I am so speechless. Here, let me turn on my camera. Hold on. Hey, I'm so giddy right now. How are you, Mr. Nolan?
Good. How are you?
A huge fan. It's I don't even know what to say. I could talk hours and stuff. How are you? Oh, yeah. I know one thing I want to say. As a huge supporter of independent comics, and I'm a pretty huge supporter. I mean, I buy almost every campaign that I think merits support, which
Nice.
isn't all of them, by the way. You do have to draw the line with some of them. There are some independent comics that just, I mean, they're obviously, home projects that maybe, but one of the things I did want to compliment you on as as being a supporter, this is even before the last campaign. And I just want to say this because I think other creators need to do a couple of things. What you do is you keep us, your communication is fantastic through the campaign. Your Indigo, your communication is fantastic. You don't just come at us when you're like, I'm so used to people come at us, when they hit a stretch goal and they want to do the next one, like, oh my God, I actually hit it, and which is kind of like, okay, but I haven't heard from you lately.
Right.
Your communication has been consistent since book one, since backer number one. Number two is that you do a good job of hosting your own shows. They're a little early for me on the West Coast, but the short, tight 1 hour, 1.5 shows where you're either by yourself or you're with somebody,
Right.
and it gives us a chance to let someone else see things about some of your past books, and because sometimes they'll talk about Monster or they'll talk about something, whatever, and I think that's a great idea, and I really encourage creators who maybe don't have a YouTube channel with a lot of subs. That let that be your creativity and start talking about it, and let your because I think as a community we all know that we can come on there, and it's not, you don't just say, it's not just about, hey guys, I need some more backers. You actually don't focus on we know the campaign's going, but
Sure.
you make a point of talking about stuff and really letting us feel that as fans, really letting us feel as fans that that we're able to give you input and participate in the stuff. And I think other people need to do that. Now, Ethan always has been great about that. Of course, the politics of Comicsgate has always, slowed things down. But I just wanted to compliment you, and I hope other creators do that as well. That we treat these things as creative works of art that are going to live on, because it brings us all in. And to me, it's a lot of stuff like Gerry's doing. Like one thing great about his channel is it's not just about politics, so many comics.
Oh, wait, you're talking about the other Gerry.
Okay, Gerry. I had to.
You're talking about Gerry Beekler.
Yeah,
No, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about
What
you.
he's saying is that Nerdrotic has a good way of not only balancing politics and pop culture as well as dealing with the fandoms themselves. He covers everything.
Oh, thanks
but
for
he doesn't make
translating,
it-
Stephen.
No, I'm
That's
talking
all
about
Oh,
this
you're
guy.
welcome. Because it was
No, I'm
two
talking about this guy.
egos. It was two egos fighting over which one was longer. I just wanted to cut it and get some English in there.
I'm talking
He said
about this guy.
longer.
I'm talking about this guy up here. No, so anyways, that's all I had to say. I just want to compliment you.
I appreciate it, Mike. I appreciate it,
No,
Mike.
brother. No, brother. What I love, because you could just go down that road, I think, for clicks and views, and you don't. You're very consistent. And like the fact that here's something right here. You got my boy Yeti Cast, who just joined the internet last Thursday, basically. right? That was a joke, Yeti. And then and my buddy Fat Steven, who's been on for a few months, and we're all on our little Tuesday night comics round table and stuff. And then the great Graham Nolan, who is great, by the way.
Yeah, Graham
He
is
didn't mention me at all, though. God.
Graham.
Okay, here we go. Let's go around the room.
Graham is the guy who gave this show its name.
Really?
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I was on my Facebook page. I said, "All right, all you fuckers that are friends of mine, we need a name for this show. Give us something." And a bunch of them posted. Fucking Graham's nailed it with Pop Culture Minefield. I'm like, that's it. That's the name. I went to Keith. I said, "What do you think?" And he goes, "Fuck yeah, that's the name." And that's what we went with.
Get out of
And
here.
you know what, Gary? I have not gotten a single royalty.
You never will, my friend. You never will.
Hey, we only just got monetized.
Gary only pays in F-bombs. That's pretty much what he does.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
Oh, okay.
Hey, here's something I really want to know. Why are you so much better than Gary?
That's easy because he's Graham Nolan. It's like
Gerry Nolan.
Oh, I love you, Gary.
Everybody knows the truth about me that I don't think I'm a friend of anybody until they shit on me. That's the way, because I'm military, man. That's
Go fuck
friendship.
yourself.
Your friends fuck with you, and when people are nice to me, I get really like, "Are you about to fuck me over?" I don't trust people that are nice to me.
I have another question I wanted to ask. Like, outside of doing your Indiegogo campaigns and your own comic books and stuff, what is it you do outside of that type of stuff that you do for fun, and what brings you the most pleasure out of it?
Oh, I'm one of those guys that likes to live a life. I love my creative side too, but when the weather's good, I'm out fishing. I like to be outdoors.
I love fishing.
I weightlift every day, to stay healthy. I go to baseball games because I love baseball.
Fat Steven weightlifts every day too. He gets out of bed.
I got to tell you, you were one of the big inspirations on me losing that 300 pounds. And,
really?
Because I got it to my PTSD and depression got me up to 650 pounds. And they said if you hadn't been an athlete, my doctor said that if you hadn't been an athlete your whole life, you'd be dead. Mm. And so I've still got a ways to go. COVID fucked everything up, but you and Richard are two fucking huge inspirations on me of trying to eat healthy. Because he shares a lot of dietary tips with me too. Richard does. But you guys are beasts, man. It's like when I draw, I use photo references. You guys just get in a mirror. Do your Duck Savage pose,
What's the biggest fish you caught, man? Because I like fishing for relaxing.
Oh yeah, I was gonna go with that too.
Dude. Nobody posts more fishing pictures than this motherfucker. I'll tell you that right now. Graham,
that season's coming, so get ready, folks.
Yeah, I love those pics.
Do you do just like say summer fishing, or do you actually go out and do ice fishing? Because
no.
Ice fishing's not bad.
I'm a Florida boy, so
you don't
I don't do the ice fishing anymore ever.
Have you ever gone fishing in Northern Ontario? There's some amazing stuff up there.
Oh, I know. I live in Buffalo now, so
you're welcome to shit on Canada. Graham, if you want to shit on Canada,
you're welcome to shit on Kerry too.
But I fish Lake Erie and I fish the creeks during bass season here. When I go down to the Keys, I've been out on charters out there, out on Isla Morada, that area for saltwater fishing, which is completely different than freshwater fishing. But I love it all. It's just relaxing and fun.
Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna bring up some photos of you.
Of me?
Fishing. Yes, fishing.
You're in my fishing file?
I look up Graham Nolan fish.
If you're looking for new places, check out Lake of the Woods.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that one right there?
Holy shit, he's buff.
That got hit by a shark. As I was
That's
reeling
amazing. Look at that.
That's a small.
Here's Australian Crikey, that's Graham Nolan right there, mate.
I'm trying
Man,
to
check
figure
out
out.
the guns on Graham
Cheers,
Nolan.
mate.
I'm trying to figure out what type of pencil Graham uses to need biceps like that. Like do you just chuck down a log and just put ink on the end? And
it's
I'm ready
a
to
lead
go.
You hit a
pencil.
con
The
and you
one
draw
thing
back a stone.
I've ever
Lead.
done,
Lead is heavy.
I've done this with Richard. I haven't done it with you yet, but beef up those calves, bro. Beef up those calves.
Yeah, this is
Come
coming
on,
from
man.
a cyclist.
Don't skip
Those are,
leg day, bro.
those are pencil legs right there, my friend.
No, I do not have pencil legs. I can tell you that. That's an
I'm
angle. That's an angle.
I love your fishing pictures, man. I really do. Okay, for the channel again, let's get back to the chat. My wife says, for the record, I'm not Gary's friend. I'm not into that. And then Jedi 6 just shit all over us. And let's see. CJ Snake
Nice.
Eyes. Well, I watch both, but I can honestly say I'd rather hang out with Gary. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Aw.
Yes,
I like Gary Beekler. I like his show. Let's see. You got this Pop Culture Minefield, Purple Valkyrie. Natasha is she's just saying hi to people. She's our moderator.
Perp, I want to hang out with you one of these days.
She loves the hat that you're wearing.
Oh yeah, keeps my bald head from getting burnt.
Let's see. Anything here? I'm always looking for stuff for asking you any questions. DC killed Bane. They killed your baby boy, Graham Nolan.
Oh, yes.
Monkey
yes,
Jeebus.
I definitely want to talk to you about that. Okay. First off, yeah, I love the character of Bane because also obviously he's a Hispanic and I'm cool with that. But aside from that, it's just, I mean, he's just a really good character. For the longest time, I have not seen a Batman villain who I really felt
Get
could
ready
go
for it,
toe to
Graham.
toe.
Get
Could go
ready
toe to
for
toe
it.
with Batman.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
What?
Because I know you were wanting to ask about his thoughts on Bane.
Yes. Okay.
in
Yeah.
television
Okay.
and cinema.
Okay, yeah, this is my big question. Okay, I've seen Bane in that horrible Batman movie. I've seen Bane on Gotham. And I think I've seen Bane in a couple of other things on live action. And why do they keep fucking that character up? How the fuck hard is it to find a giant Hispanic with a fucking luchador mask?
My uncle was even available.
Yeah.
But
You were
was-
born. You adopted the night. I
Did
was
they-
born.
Now, look,
No,
Oh
but
my
did they?
God.
But before we
Graham
go,
gets
Hardy.
Graham gets paid for those, so I can't expect him to shit on those movies on a
Then-
show like this.
then
but-
I'll
what
shit
did
on them. They're
what-
terrible movies.
Thank
what
you.
do you-
Okay.
Then
I just
Graham,
remember the money for Batman
you
Returns.
know what would go a long way in making a better Bane? How about you pick up the phone and you talk to me and Chuck? How about that?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
You know how we found out that Bane was in the Christopher Nolan movie? My daughter came downstairs and said, "Dad, Bane is going to be in the new Christopher Nolan movie."
Oh,
Like,
No.
She said,
No.
I said, "Where'd you see that?" She goes, "It was on the internet." So I called Chuck. I said, "Chuck, did you know Bane's going to be in the next movie?" He says, "No. Where'd you hear that?" I said, "Sarah just told me."
oh man,
That's how we
No.
found out.
Jeez.
that's dirty. That's
Can I-
dirty.
I want
Well,
was
I will
terrible.
tell you this though. We got an amazing comic because of their fuck up.
That's true.
I
You
wanted
want to tell them about that one?
Bane
Yes, tell me.
Conquest.
Yes. Bane Conquest came into existence because DC realized, oh shit, we forgot about the guys who created the character. Oh.
And
And
guess
so-
who didn't get any credit in the credits in the movie too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
Wait, what?
that's
Yeah,
that's
there's
low.
no credit for Bane in the
Yeah.
movie.
They've got gaffers, they've got caterers, but they don't have the.
But not the
creative
guys who
people.
created the character. That's right.
But just don't fuck with the key grips.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah,
welcome
that's
to
true.
the
Yeah,
chat,
that's
Mr. Tickle Trunk. Glad to see you, buddy. You got any questions for Graham? Pound it out. Let's see.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Can I?
Well,
ask-
that makes sense. What I love that you did is I loved how originally he was. It was really funny because one of the reasons I loved what you did with him originally is that he was like a Hispanic dude. Really, I mean, obviously he was a bad guy, but he was really intelligent. Like
Yes.
he came across like I don't know. I mean, okay, yeah, he looked like a luchador, but he also had that uber intelligent kind of Lex Luthor kind of.
Mhm.
super, thing.
He
And
was,
I always
an
thought,
evil Doc Savage. That was the whole
The
concept.
idea?
Oh, that's so
Make him
cool.
okay.
evil Doc
I
Savage.
can see it. I can see
okay,
it.
so what I always
Yeah.
found interesting, having him come into the comics as a Detective Comics Batman version fan, was that I was like, okay, this isn't just a battle of like brawn. This is a battle of intellect. This is like the legacy of the detective, and then here comes this guy with brawn plus intelligent thought of like try without like say the Joker, who okay, maybe diabolically okay intelligent, but he was a wacko. He never knew when he was going to screw himself up.
Mhm.
So I really loved
Mhm.
that foundation, and it endured with me for God. I mean, well, since I was a kid to now, and I hated what happened when he came on stage. I was excited at first, I was like, and then I was like, what well, I can get this guy at the local strip club in front, guarding the cars. Who's this guy?
Yeah.
Now,
He's like,
I'm gonna
why is he
put-
British?
I did
Yeah.
a convention in Mexico City, La Mole Con in Mexico City, and the fans down in Mexico love Bane.
Yep.
I mean, Mexican
Oh, yeah.
comics really came of age in that period in the early 90s, because prior to that they had these little mini comics that they were producing, and then they signed a different contract with Marvel and DC to actually send them the real Marvel DC comics. And so their first experiences with like the Marvel and DC comics was Bane, the Bane and Nightfall, and the Death of Superman. So when the Death of Superman guys and the Nightfall guys go to these shows in Mexico City, they're like, lifting us up and carrying us like Cleopatra. I mean, they just the fans love it, and they're just awesome down there. And they say they so connect with Bane because of his Latino heritage, and that's really great.
I
why I love
one of
him.
the things I love seeing also on your page is when you do go to cons and you get the cosplayers come up to you as Bane and you compete flex with them, and I fucking love that, dude. They
always
people
wanna
do
do
not
a Bane
know
pose,
you're
so
a
I'm like,
fucking
yeah,
physical beast, dude. You really are. And you'll get in there and I'm like going, dude, that's at least 18-inch arm. How big is your fucking biceps now?
I don't know. I don't measure them.
That's I've never I'm shocked because like man, you work on those guns, and I would
wants to
assume you
touch
would.
Can I wanted to ask a question earlier. It was pretty much you're familiar with the Arkham game series as well, right?
Yes. Well, I've never played it, but I know of it. Yeah.
Well, you've seen how they portrayed Bane in that series. How do you take that as a relation to your own creation?
I took it as fantastic because the royalty check on that game was killer.
So was the check bigger than your 18-inch biceps or smaller?
It was bigger than Dark Knight Returns money.
Yeah, I bet.
Nice.
Yeah.
But did they
Wow.
respect your character in the games though?
I think he comes across as the Hulk.
Yeah.
In the way he's portrayed, this gigantic. When I drew Bane, and when I still draw Bane, I draw him as like the biggest bodybuilder you'll ever meet. And and Kelly in his covers, took Bane to Hulk levels. And a lot of people kind of gravitated towards that. And when they do Bane, just like when they do The Thing, they make The Thing Hulk size or gigantic size. But Ben Grimm, even when he's in The Thing, is only 6 foot. He's only supposed to be about 6 foot tall. Reed Richards is actually about an inch or two taller than him.
And I love the way you draw the thing. The way you do the rocks it's so classic looking. It doesn't look like some of the crap that you see today when they try to draw them. It's like everything wants to be exaggerated, whereas you're just drawing the character.
Yeah, and I'm drawing him the way he's created, the way Kirby created him.
Exactly. Okay, we've got a couple of super chats. First one, are Main Street Comics outpricing new fans? And thank you, Zax, for the Canadian $2.
That's
They
a
have been
great
for a long time.
That's a great question. Are they outpricing new fans? I'm not sure the price is the problem with new fans. The problem is availability. You don't have young people coming into the hobby of reading comics. So, the comic prices are reflective of the audience, and the audience is like, between 25 and 60 now, and mostly 40s, if you want to know the truth. It seems like. So, it's really more about availability and getting eyeballs on the product and getting kids, creating subjects for the kids, but getting it to them to places where they're going to be. When I was a kid growing up, comics was a much more universal thing. You could go to any 7-Eleven or any drugstore and there'd be comics there. You could go to a grocery store and there may be comics there. Ever since they threw all their eggs into one basket as far as distribution goes, to direct distribution, and eschewed the newsstand, then the ability for a kid to discover comics, to happen upon them and be thrilled by this new discovery is gone. It just doesn't happen.
That froze.
By somebody that already knows about it, or they got to find it.
Do you think that the new fans, especially with the generations, say in the last 5 years, that they're being ripped off of having the experience of opening a book, feeling the pages, and like enjoying the way panels were used to be? Do you think they're missing out because not just the pricing model that's coming out, but the writing quality at the same time is turned more into a lecture than an actual a form of escapism?
Well, I think so, and I think the sales reflect that. The writers are writing for themselves. Now, let's be clear. We're talking about corporate comics here. We're talking about the superhero comics of Marvel and DC, not the independents, because there's a myriad styles and genres that are being done in those things. We're talking about the main two guys that run and drive this business of Marvel and DC. And the people that are writing these characters are trying to write themselves. They're not writing the characters. It's more important for them to message than it is to entertain. Yes. And it shows when you have an Avengers comic where they're sitting around a pizza in a pizza joint around a table with a half-eaten pizza, and they're not doing anything but looking full, and maybe one of them's on their cell phone. That's them. That's the writer. That's the artist. Those are them living their own lives. And who the hell wants to see that?
Well, they're bad writers to start things off if they can't imagine anything beyond themselves. And put that personality to develop that character with and flesh them out so they're a fully fledged individual. That it's just a mess.
Does it come across? Does it come across though as them being lazy, or them trying to maintain their own selfishness of a type of immortality by inserting themselves into the comic?
I think a little bit of both. I think they're afraid to admit that superheroes are for kids, and that they want their superheroes to grow up with them. And when you do that, you take the whimsy and fun out of the characters, and you end up with these nihilistic, Dark Knight versions of characters. By and large, comic books or superhero comics are kids' fare. That's what they were designed for, and that's what they are. You can make them so that all ages can enjoy them on different levels, but by writing them as these adult things, I think you're missing out, and you're losing generations of kids.
That's right. That is right. That is so right.
Thank you.
And I got to tell you, Graham, Keith we've talked a lot about corporate comics and corporate filmmaking and how it's failing all the nerddom. They're making huge mistakes in their creativity and falling into these traps of believing that there is some kind of value for them from Twitter. And that Twitter is a voice that they need to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter's a cesspool.
Yeah.
And well, that's why all these
comics the first suck. Gate of hell.
It is.
It's a nightmare. Listen to the 1% of psychosis rather than the fans that are on there literally trying to tell them that something's wrong and you have the chance to change it. And now they're at the point where it's gone too far and no one's buying anymore. We're at the point now where I'm enjoying anime and graphic novels, especially from like that area, because not only are the characters great, but the reality of that world is so great, and they have failure, they have success, and you're not getting that anymore with these comics we have on the Western, especially with DC and Marvel.
Definitely not.
They try to trick us with the art, the cover art.
So I've got two
Been doing that for a long
super
time.
chats I need to get to. First is our buddy Mr. Tickle Trunk, who gave us 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, buddy. Not just for the $10, but you're always on our shows, and I really love that you interact. And then, of course, we have another one from Rebecca. Where'd it go?
It's up there.
Can I read this one?
Yeah.
50. Oh, Rebecca, you got to come on my channel.
You can come on my channel next too.
Yeah, everybody
yeah.
subscribe to Graham's channel, man. It's a
Yes.
great channel. God damn it, I'm so pissed you got Kevin on the show. I've been trying to get that guy. God damn it, Graham. Hook me up, bro.
We'll get him.
Keith is like, I'm telling Keith, I'm like, look, man, maybe because you're a bro, you can get him on. Keith hasn't gotten him on yet. I want Kevin on our show so bad because we love that guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you too, though.
But anyway, John, read.
Yes. Okay. Yes, this is from Rebecca Early. She says, I just want to tell you guys that you've really helped me through a rough time. I lost my tattoo shop in historic flooding, and T-shirted, introduced me to your channel. I have a lot of fun, and I learn a lot from. Thank you very much. Much love. Yeah,
Wow.
Becca lost her tattoo shop because her area of Beattyville got flooded by all this massive flooding, and there's no aid for that area or anything. So yeah, she literally did lose
God bless
everything.
you, Rebecca.
Where
God
is
bless
that?
Hey,
you.
thank you so very much.
Beattyville, Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. First of all, that I have no words for that. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you.
Yeah, very much. Let's see. Let's get up here. Actually, my impression sounds. Oh, yeah, that's about Bane. Because it's just Sean Connery with a single. You know. I was always disappointed that Bruce didn't redeem himself in a fight with Bane at the end of Nightfall.
Nightfall gave way to Knight's Quest and then Knight's End. So really, at the end of Knight's End, there was the fight in Detective 701, where Batman as Bruce Wayne comes back and beats the crap out of Bane.
Nice.
So you must have missed that issue.
Yeah,
I
go
always make
back,
fun of
Sean.
I always make fun of the Tom Hardy Bane because I'm always saying like, oh yeah, Batman's so tough, he beat up on a giant asthmatic. That's great.
CJ's
the night.
I
CJ
can't breathe without the mask.
Jesus Christ, fucker. CJ Snakes says, well, considering how things are in Hollywood, I highly doubt they will get a white guy to play Bane now. That at least I'd be happy about. Bane is Latin and should always be Latino. I agree.
I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, the best voice of Bane was Danny Trejo. He did Bane in was it New Justice or Young Justice? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, man, when I heard his voice and I knew it was Danny Trejo, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I started
That's the
watching
real
it
deal
because
there.
of Keith. Keith got me watching that show.
Yeah, that was Young
I
Justice.
need to watch that.
They do a lot of good research on that show. You can tell the people that actually make Young Justice actually are comic book fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they go out of their way to try to at least bring in everybody, even though the show is titled Young Justice. So,
Jedi is one of our lovely female followers. So yeah, give her a little flex, buddy. Come on, Greg.
Okay, are we ready for the big boom?
Too
Just
much meat for the screen.
He is a beast. He is a beast. Everything in Marvel is busted. Is busted face.
Busted face.
Sean,
not wrong.
He's not.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Yeti cast.
Internet gas.
I love the animated Bane. Great character. I agree. It was good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my favorite version. Is the Henry
Hector
Silver.
Elizondo.
I have a question
He's
about that.
good.
Then we've talked about how like they're doing the movies and stuff, but what are your feelings on the animated movies and how DC's been delivering them? Do you
Never
think they have
watched
more?
any.
You haven't seen any of them?
No. Mm-mm.
No.
They started kind of going downhill when they did Gotham by Gaslight. That was a garbage movie. Just
It's a
garbage.
great comic
Assault on
too.
Arkham was good. I liked it. I'm sorry.
I did too. Let's see. We got Zach saying, thanks. I used to check 7-Eleven twice a day in the summers. Very
He's
true.
referring to our conversation about
Yeah.
the accessibility of comics.
Vanity Comics. We grew up at the same time, Graham. What did you think of Gold Key Comics? That was like one of my favorites.
I thought they were sort of boring. You know, the artwork in there was a bit boring. You know, Charlton was the same way. Not a lot of
Yeah, they were.
great stuff. I mean, some great guys came out of there. Dick Giordano and Jim Aparo both came out of Charlton, but they weren't the height of their powers yet. You know, when they got to DC, well,
The thing that I liked
they were
about
great.
Gold Key Comics, and it's something that I've done with a lot of the projects I've worked on, that if I do the internal art, I have a friend of mine do the cover. And I always get one of my artist friends that actually paint, because I like painted covers. And it's all because I grew
I
up
did
liking-
like that about Gold Key. Yeah.
Especially
Painted
like Star
covers were
Trek,
good.
Lost in Space. I love that
The
shit.
Phantom.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So let's see. Jedi 6 said, oh, wow, Rebecca, she referring to the story of what happened down in Texas with the flooding.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Rebecca, we're going to want to talk to you a little bit later. I don't know if you can join us in private chat after the show. I'd like to talk to you. Let's see. Sean says they don't like comics. They all wish they were doing movies.
Yeah, they all think they're Quentin Tarantino and have a knack for dialogue. That's all they do is they sit around and yap, yap, yap.
Well, this is something that was just talked about, that we need to stop letting these movie guys and even book guys come in to do comic books.
Yeah.
Keep guys that love comic books writing comic books.
And
Well, you're 20 years too late then.
let's get editors that understand the art form, so that they can tell writers what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
The problem is you have editors that are 20, 22 years old, because that's, they're only paying them, crap rates and overworking them. And they've never been trained. They've never been mentored by great editors ahead of them. So, Stan Lee, he took Roy Thomas under his wing, and Roy Thomas took Gerry Conway and Len Wein and Marv Wolfman under their wings. And then there was Archie Goodwin, and Archie Goodwin took all these guys under their wings and taught them. Once those guys, and Denny O'Neil, and once they retired, that was it, man. There was like nothing. And then you get fanboys or fangirls coming up, and they don't seem to understand the art form. If there's a problem with a script, they don't know how to fix it or to tell the writer, this is what needs to be done. We need to, or to how to gatekeep the character. You can't do this to this character because blah, blah, blah. It's just the Wild West of mediocrity.
Well, okay.
What do
Here's a
you-
question?
What-
Sorry, Keith. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
Well,
I was-
wait 1 second. We have another Mr. Tickle Trunk question and a $10 Canadian gift. Thank you so much again, Mr.
Nice,
Tickle Trunk.
Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Graham's an amazing dude with so much creativity.
He's
Though it's a-
absolutely right.
Yes, it's totally true. It's true. It's proven fact. Though it's a shame the industry was gutted by the left-wing equivalent of church ladies. It's true. The left took a lot of lessons from the 80s with the women going after rock and roll.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm very happy you found more freedom now and crushing it. And he is crushing it, Mr. Tickle Trunk. He is.
I am happier doing what I'm doing now than I've ever been in my 38 years doing this.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I am just on. I'm waking up. I'm thinking about concepts. I'm working on stuff, and I'm enjoying drawing. I'm enjoying writing and writing the dialogue that's going to push my characters and stuff. It's so much fun.
That's the key word right there. Thank you. I honestly believe whether you're a YouTube creator, Indiegogo creator, comic writer, drawer, publisher, whatever, if you're not having fun, it's going to be a detriment in your project in the future. And as soon as it becomes more about your namesake and how the popularity of your name overtakes the actual fun of the projects, you have lost touch with what you're trying to create. And a lot of people seem to lose that along the way. So
if it's not fun for me, how can it be fun for you that bought it?
Thank you.
You know,
well, fun is the key word. You can still have fun and be professional.
And that leads into my question I was going to ask. Do you actually think the real fans of comics, because the people going in now, I think they're using it more as a stepping stone for a paycheck in movies rather than trying to make sure and ensure that the storyline of all those great characters that came before is honored and that the stories are being portrayed are accurate. So like, do you think they're actually fans, or do you have a different view on it?
What are we talking about? Are we talking about the editors and stuff?
The editors and the writers. Yeah, currently in comics.
Well, you know, I like to think they're fans, but when I look at the products, I wonder how you could be a fan and write that, you know? So it's a good question. I don't know. I think that, you know, when guys like me got into comics, there was no money in comics. We got into it because it was a passion and we loved it. And that's what we wanted to do. As long as I could put a roof over my head and feed my family, I'd be happy with that. Then came Image Comics and the whole rock and roll rock star and money that entered into the business then. And then I think whole generations came in thinking that's what it was like, you know, that, a comic rock star, you know, and they got in for the wrong reasons, you know.
Talking about like Image and all them.
Yeah. You know, well, the guys after Image, because Image, you know, broke the glass ceiling there and brought a lot of money and speculator money too that came in the 90s, kind of corrupted what comics were. And, you know, we lost a lot of readers because they were producing comics for variant covers and posters and original art sales, as opposed to telling good stories. So you're not going to get those returning customers that after they discover girls, come back to it a few years later and nostalgically and remember their comics fondly and start recollecting again. They leave and they don't return because they don't have that fond memory, because all they have are variant covers and chromium covers and all that shit and bad memories.
Holograms.
Yeah, all that nonsense.
Well, the fact that, you know, guys like Christopher Priest aren't getting work on multiple different books is a travesty. Because I've heard anyways that he's only being asked to do characters like Black Panther, but he's got so much more to do than just beyond characters that match his own skin tone. Like that's embarrassing just to ask that alone.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's and the flip side of that is that you can't hire a man to write Ms. Marvel.
Yeah,
you know, this type of woke assignment giving that they're doing is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and I'm pretty sure from what I looked into, he found it insulting that that's the only offers he would get. And I believe he stepped away. You guys might know more than me, but I believe he totally stepped away because they didn't want to give him anything beyond what he looked like. Just the same way with, you know, Miss Marvel, you know, things like that. It's only someone that looks exactly like the character.
Yeah, but as if as a human being, you can't relate to other people of other cultures or other religions or other sexualities or other nationalities. It's ridiculous, you know. I mean, I had 3 daughters, a mother, a sister, and a wife. Yeah. So I think I can write female characters.
Yeah. It'd be like saying Alexander Dumas can't do The Count of Monte Cristo. You know, one of the greatest books ever created. and the depth that goes into it, and he's able to do this. But no, comics, they don't think beyond what somebody looks like.
And Edgar Rice Burroughs was never on Mars, so
Yeah, how can you write about Mars?
Yeah.
Jules Verne was never in a submarine.
How? I'm sorry. I'm thinking of that little Dutch or whatever she is. How dare you?
I think ultimately what it comes down to for a lot of people that have gotten into comics over the last few years that are currently at Marvel and DC is that they are so out of touch with the history of both those comics that they don't understand that many of the problems and issues that they are bringing into it have already been solved. There are characters galore that both Marvel and DC has had for decades, that if you want to see someone that looks a little different, they got it.
Yeah.
But they don't spend the time to do the research, to read the stories, to understand that a lot of the issues that they have, those were solved years ago. So they end up recreating or creating all these new issues that are new to them, that a lot of those of us that have been reading comics for years are going, yeah, we've already passed that. We're done with that. And it makes them look like idiots.
Well, I think it goes further than that, Keith, because they're unwilling to do the heavy lifting. It's one thing to look at a demographic and say, okay, we have an underserved community here. We need to reach out to this community because that means sales. And the bottom line is they're in the sales business to sell comic books, as many as they can. Okay, they're not in the social justice business. But if you can, if there's a group of people that is underserved that you think is going to respond to something, i.e. buy your product, then great, go for it. But what they're unwilling to do is to create something for that demographic. Let's say, for the sake of an argument, they think that transgender people are an important demographic to go for, that they're huge comic buyers or whatever. Okay. Yeah. So what they will do is they'll take a Green Lantern and make him a transgender Green Lantern. Instead of creating some brand new character that may be transgendered, but he's so much more than that. But instead they define them by that one thing. When Stan and Jack needed a black character, they didn't say, okay, we're going to make a black Iron Man now. No, they created an entire world of Wakanda and created the Black Panther. And he was created out of whole cloth. The work went into it, and he was an excellent character that everybody loved. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Asian, or whatever, because the character was great. But they just want to do these quick and easy fixes and assign Alan Scott is now gay. So now you've got the original Green Lantern, who, by the way, was the first married superhero, is now gay. And so they do this lazy shit, and that's what drives me absolutely nuts. Is like, do the work, man.
Do the work, exactly. It's you take a 3-dimensional character and turn him into a 2-dimensional character.
Yeah.
But why do you think it is they have to go after already standing characters that already have built their universe, built their foundation, and they have to go in?
It's a lack of creativity.
Well, I understand it's that, but why is it that they have to go after the most important ones, the ones that have the highest fan followings? Why can't they take an
because
adaptation
everything's become about money. Everything's become about money with comics right now. And so you want to go for the things that you think people can identify with instantly. Because look at it this way.
But they're turning it into a morgue.
You have Batman, you have Superman, and you have Challengers of the Unknown. Now, for a lot of people that are between the ages of, say, 12 to 25, they know who Batman is. They know who Superman is. They have no idea who the Challengers of the Unknown are.
Yeah.
No.
You're not going to sell very much. Okay? So that's what both DC and Marvel have gotten trapped in. And it's the perpetual thing of just continually going after these characters that everybody knows. And thus allowing other characters some characters in certain cases might be a lot closer to what a lot of these companies are trying to push if they would do the homework to find out that these characters existed. And so what you're left with is a lot of the same stuff again and again and again. And when you do see something that is created or kind of new, all you're getting is the writer or the artist really just putting themselves into the story and not really, well, again, they're not doing the work. It's all lazy. Every bit of it.
I agree, Keith. But what I was trying to say, like, we're bringing up, when we talk about, like, say, like B or C list heroes or villains, it's also the fault of, let's say, these high-end companies who are making these movies, that they don't take the time and or the resources to introduce those B's and C's with proper delivery. You can make a lot of characters look better if you deliver them in a proper, let's say, in a trailer. And it's like they don't even want to give that type of energy towards that. There could be a character in there they haven't touched that has the ability to make them $1 billion, as Disney would say, but they refuse to even look down those avenues and catwalks. It's irritating.
Oh, shit. I remember back in the 90s.
How is it Suicide Squad has Polka Dot Man, for God's sakes?
Back in the 90s, during one of the summers, Marvel was launching some kind of campaign where they would put out a whole bunch of issues with trading cards, and they were bagged, and every single issue was an annual, and each one featured a brand new hero or villain. And pretty much that's all they ever became, is that little one-shot character in that annual, and we never saw any of them again. So Marvel's sitting on a stack of characters and properties that they could be using. They could put some fresh creative people on that shit and repurpose them into some decent characters just by going in there and examining and saying, hey, you know what? This is a neat character.
Look what they did with WandaVision. They were doing great with Easter eggs, with little nods, little hints, this and there. And by the time it hit episode 5, it turned into, we just don't care no more. And they went with one weird-ass storyline in Mayo Vision. It blew my mind.
And you mentioned the one issue right there, creative. These people aren't creative. They don't have anything interesting to say.
Because it's not
they
in a
don't have enough life experience, and so all they know is, like Fat Steven just said, sitting at Starbucks eating pizza. So that's what they write instead of imagining beyond. I don't know if they're actually capable of putting together a story or a character.
I imagine half of these writers have probably never actually been in a real fist fight to begin with.
It's not the fist fight. It's the fact that they have grown up in a certain type of environment.
You so hard.
They've grown up in an environment where they've forgotten how to have imagination and to believe in their imagination.
Well,
they no longer have the ability to dream.
Our good friend Martin. I'm sorry, Graham.
The fist fight's important too, because they say shit because they don't think they'll get punched.
Yeah.
Because it's never happened. But they get online and they act like,
internet tough guys.
Hold on. I have a perfect representation of that. There you go.
You'd be chewing your teeth.
There you go. There's a perfect example, Graham, right there. Right there. I put lingerie on it because I have creativity. But that's it right there. It's
lingerie on Geo, the Rock from Star Wars. Our good friend Martin has a comment here. Now, Martin, I'm trying to figure out his accent. Yesterday, he was a Southern person.
I can do a little Southern if you need me to,
French,
sir.
But tonight, I'm going to do him as an Irishman. Martin Nicosta Santana. They go after the most important characters to deconstruct and destroy, and demoralize everyone into submission to their wacko ideology. Sorry, I'm a drunk Irishman.
So you're Irish.
Is there another thing?
No, Martin is. Shut up.
Okay.
Real Wade Nation. Hi, guys. I will never read new comic ever. Nothing against the comics. I'm just tired of them. Yeah. Back issues are good. And, of course, that helps IDW.
Compass Comics. Real Walden Nation. You need to read Compass Comics.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the only new comics you should be reading.
Are you hiring writers?
And mine. Although Compass might publish mine. I don't know. I'm friends with Graham. Maybe it'll happen. I don't know.
Maybe.
Stealing what has been done is also trying to remake the world, and it's so wrong. CJ Snake Eyes says, listen, most of the SGW on Twitter saying that our trans is not really trans. That's right. They're full. Yeah. I'm a fan of someone on YouTube who actually is trans and has a great YouTube channel. I have a middle child who is trans and hates this shit. And she's a really good comic artist and writer. Let's see.
Kiki Pixie.
Sean says their job is a badge to them, whether they're qualified or not. Yeah, because it's all about the trophies. Everybody get a trophy. Circle jerks, whatever you want to call it. They're all the same thing. Let's see. Monkey.
Well, there's no
Jeebus.
merit anymore. Nobody earns anything. You get the job because
There's no value to
you're a
anything
woman,
anymore.
or A, because you're a black writer, or A, because your sexual preference is whatever. That's why you're getting those books. You're not getting them because of your accomplishments, and that's just wrong. The people that are accomplished, that have the skills, are being locked out just because they don't believe in the same thing.
That's another thing. What it comes down to is like a lot of us come from a generation or raised a certain way that you can work hard for something and still fail. You don't work hard for something and always get something. They've never lived in the environment where the no is. They don't understand no. And if they hear no for the first time, especially on Twitter, even though it's successful and people are being really logical and honest, we're automatically considered one of the three isms, obes, or icks. And you know what? That's not the point. The fact is, you're bad at your job. You can be bad at your job.
Just for saying, okay.
Yeah, because they never been told they suck. They suck.
Yeah. Hey, Graham, what do you think of my panel now?
I coached youth sports for 13 years, and even the kids knew that when they got a trophy when they lost, they didn't like it.
No.
And we've got,
because they know they didn't earn it.
Yeah.
Yes, but and you know what? The pain of loss is a great thing. It's a great motivator. It makes you work that much harder to not feel that again. Sometimes you'll work your ass off and you won't rise up. You just won't be good enough. The other guy's going to be better. That's life. You got to deal with that.
There's always going to be someone better than you. The thing is not to let it get down, and you're supposed to go harder. And a lot of people I know, whether you've lost everything, you've gone from homeless to now surviving and supporting yourself, that is a lesson within itself. And a lot of people will never understand this. Well, I went to college and got this. Guess what? Your college was paid for by mommy and daddy.
Yeah,
you don't know what it's like having to work at McDonald's for 80-hour weeks.
I told my kids, you're paying for your college. You can go to the military like I did. In our chat, of course, Kate said, "Yep, Martin, it's right about rules of radicals." And of course, Martin says, "At Pop Culture Minefield, our good friends, question mark, question mark, question mark. Being nice to me? What the hell, man? Oh, it's on." Fuck you, Martin. Let's see. Geeky Pixie, hi. Geeky's here, and she gave us $5. I'm guessing that's US. We all love Geeky.
We love Geeky.
If you do not agree with what they want to do with these beloved characters, they label you an istophobe. So cancel culture silences you by any means. Yes, that's great. That's how they did. They tried to do it to my wife. They tried to do it to me the other day. And of course, it flopped with me because I don't care.
Yeah. How long? I have a question.
It lasted one day, Graham. One day. They were like, hate you, you're evil, cancel this guy. And it's like, nope, nobody's listening to you.
I kind of have a question along with this. How long until we're going to get someone who's actually going to do a campaign where they're literally showing, like making a comic story out of Twitter? You know what I mean, though? A character rising through Twitter against
the
all
comic
of the
book.
No. SJW, an anti-intelligence story, and just go from there.
Well, you just came up with the idea. Do it.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't draw. I can't draw at all.
I know. I suck at drawing. I'm so bad at that.
You have friends who can, though.
Look, I would take your talents to its limit. If you can't draw, at least write it out. Get it out of your head in some way. And then go find yourself someone that can draw.
Hey, Gerry.
Why not just get Graham to do it and I just get some of the royalties? Hi, Graham.
Because you can't afford Graham.
Graham charges 5 times what I charge.
You charge in Twinkies. He charges in money.
Yes. And not that Monopoly Canadian money either.
Oh, drop that.
It smells like maple syrup. What does yours do?
We're not talking about your legs yet, though.
Oh, ouch.
Okay. Oh, Socks is here. Socks says, "I want to go back to the days of Chris Claremont, Roger Stern, Larry Hama, So many so-called writers can't write a decent story. Well, no, they're
I
not
love
writers.
Larry Hama. He's awesome.
Met him, nice man.
Yeah, there was the person that was doing Riri Williams for Marvel, and their only qualification is they literally look the exact same as the character. There was nothing about merit to warrant going into and taking the character, but nope, looks the same. So okay, that's the person we're going to pick. It's ridiculous.
Okay, Yeti's thing fell flat. Thanks for
that was the thing though. That
thanks
was
for
the joke.
Sure, okay.
That was
We're not affiliated with that bomb. We're really not affiliated.
I'm serious, Graham. We shit on Yeti so fucking much. It's just I don't know why.
I enjoy murdering you.
We love him. I love him a lot. I really do. And I show a lot of support for the stuff that he does, but I really do shit on you a lot.
You never tell me you love me, Gerry.
If we
Fuck off, John. Nobody cares about you.
If we shit on Yeti,
I'm
anymore,
Mexican. I'm Cubano. Fuck off.
If we shit on Yeti, if we shit on Yeti anymore, by the end of the month, he's gonna look like Bigfoot.
Well, that's it. He picked a second-rate cryptoid. It's
Mike,
like
hermano, you see how they treat me on this show?
Sasquatch,
Bro,
Bigfoot.
it's so awesome. I love it.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
A Yeti? You picked a Yeti? Oh boy!
Hey,
oh,
I'm
it's the
Northern.
abominable snowman. Shut
Yeah,
up,
I'm
It's a big
Northern,
thing.
man.
What, Graham?
Should have picked the Chinook.
Yeah,
she knew.
the Chinook.
Can't
Well, then I
afford the
would have a
fees. The
lawsuit
licensing
for
fees are too
copyright
expensive.
infringement.
I was about to say, yeah, isn't the trademark for that a little bit taken?
Hey, good night, Jedi 6. We'll see you later. Get some good rest.
Bye,
Thanks for
Six.
stopping
Flex
by.
on screen. You want to flex on screen? That'll cost. problems.
Sean Crummell writes, they're the high school bullies taking the... Yeah, exactly. It's the same mindset. We know bullies. Now, I grew up in an era, and Graham knows this, and so does Keith. I dislike the show, the nerd show. What is it, Keith? Help me here.
Big Bang
Oh,
Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Because
I hate
that is
that
only
show.
one kind of nerd. They
Exactly.
only show
I hate
one
that
brush
show.
stroke, and that's all the nerds. Whereas the nerds I grew up with, and I know Graham knows what I'm talking about, we knew how to fight.
Yep.
And we didn't take shit off people.
Yeah,
I love
played
Star
sports.
Wars. Yeah,
You
I
know?
played sports. I was all state, all district. You know, there none of this. Fucking hate that show. Anyway,
Yeah.
Can I
so
answer?
Sean,
sorry.
you are right. Let's see. What does Kate say? Kurt Schlichter books. Yes, of course. I'd buy that for $1. Natasha said.
Can I answer
she's-
Wade's question when it gets up there?
Sure. Hold on. I fucking hate it when it goes too fast. Okay, my wife. Mine cancel lasted a month. I'm more evil to them than a Gerry. Yes, it's true. Twitter is where the true anti-life equation is.
That's perfect.
That is
Yep.
true.
Purple Valkyrie says, sounds like a good idea. And I think that was to Steven doing the Twitter comic. Hey, now, what fake Canadian, huh? Well, Rambling Canuck. I mean, first of all, your name's Rambling.
And it's Canuck.
Yep. Canuck. What up, Canuck?
I like to mispronounce words on purpose.
Rambling, we need to make some history together.
I don't say Arkansas, I say Arkansas, just to annoy people from there. Well, you live in that Arkansas,
Arkansas.
right?
There it is.
There you go. Answer it.
See, honestly, I gave Falcon and Winter Soldier a chance. The first episode had some good points. The best part about it was the way they delivered Bucky's trauma and how he's dealing with it. But after watching the first 3 episodes today of Invincible on Amazon, Falcon's garbage. Invincible nailed it, and I'm gonna go with it right now. The 3 episodes, each episode's 40 minutes long, and I had a blast with it. They did very well, and I'm not trying to outsource.
I just downloaded them, so I'm going to be watching them this evening. So that's good to hear.
My question is, were you a fan of the comic before you saw this?
No, I have never touched the comic. That's why I went in with fresh eyes. But I now want to read the comics because after script,
I'm the same as you, though, Stephen. I'm the same as you. I never read the comic, and I'm actually going to read it after the season. Now, I'm going to go on, and I will say that I enjoyed the first episode of Winter Soldier. I've not seen the second episode yet. I was a fan of Captain America and the Falcon. It was like one of my main comics I read as a kid. One of my favorite issues is when they took on the Banshee, and I still have that comic. I freaking love the artwork in that.
Wait.
What, Keith?
No, I was just laughing at the fact that I think you won't find too many people our age that were that familiar with Bucky anyway. You know, if you were a fan of Captain America, you were pretty much either a fan of just Captain America or Captain America and the Falcon.
Yeah, and that's what I read.
Yeah.
Bucky was something that I learned about much later. And I'm like, oh, there was a character? And so I think they're making him into an interesting character compared to
I love
comics.
the character of the Winter Soldier.
What do you think, Graham?
Well,
what do you think, Graham?
I knew about Bucky from the get-go because Captain America whined about him in every issue. that was the problem with Captain America in the 70s is that, he was.
I don't even remember that. I got to go back
over this one death, and yet here he is, the soldier in World War II. I mean, every soldier in World War.
Nope.
Lost you, Graham.
And I hated that.
Gotcha. CJ Snake says, by the way, Gary, I'm the same CJ in Facebook group who was worried Baron was going to be thin in the new Dune movie. And you said to me, oh, he will be fat. No worries. Yes, I know who you are then. Excellent. Because I've already seen some of the behind the scenes stuff, and he's a bit hefty. I'm still worried about the movie. We'll see. But let's see. What does Martin have to say?
I unfortunately read the entire series of The Boys before Amazon brought its videos out, and I'm sorry. Garth Ennis is one of my favorite writers.
You would like Garth Ennis.
I fucking love Garth Ennis.
And they fell short, right? They fell short on the series, right?
Second season was a joke.
Second season was so bad.
I couldn't finish the first season, and I didn't even look at the second season.
Don't look at the second season.
I powered my way through them, but oh my god, it was so bad.
Hey, Mexican Iron Man, do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
Read Martin Acosta Santana's as a proper Mexican, would you?
Hold on, let me see. Is he down the super chat?
No, he's on the screen right now.
What I mean, what does come to this channel for three things: learn, laugh, and get bullied by very nice mofos.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Notice it was Betty.
Betty.
Yeah, Berry. Betty.
Very nice.
Wait, hold on. When I was grabbing my lunch, I had a quick little comment I wanted to tell you. Is that this whole thing about you got to be this to write that? Look, I'm here on this panel with who created my favorite Hispanic, villain ever, if not favorite super comic, with Bane, right? And then the other thing too is like there was this movie called Blood In and Blood Out. That was done by a white director. One of the most
Taylor Hackford, man.
Hackford.
Were you in on that interview?
Yeah, I produced the show for Midnight Sedge. We actually
my
put
Latino
Slant. Yeah, I produced Latino Slant. We actually put that reunion together.
Good job, dude. Cast,
thanks, brother. Glad you enjoyed it. We're doing. Guess what we're doing next?
What's next?
American Me.
Yeah, how'd you know that? Holy crap! Wow. Yeah, that is the next one we're doing.
Because I'm a fucking Mexican, dude. Of course. This is
and after that, next month we're doing La Bamba. We're doing La Bamba.
I'm looking forward to both of those. Let's see. CJ says, "Oh my God, Gary is right. I was a burnout nerd who rammed someone in the face into their own locker." All the nerds I knew were ultra violent if necessary.
I just had a thought. You know how Bizarro World, right? Do you know what's messed up is I would rather live in Bizarro World right now than what's going on in our own reality. Because if Bizarro Twitter is the opposite of what's going on in our Twitter, there's actual sanity there. How messed up is that?
Big time.
This is Bizarro World.
If we did, I want to go back to when we had the rainbow lanterns, and I would go back and recast myself as Brown Lantern.
And that is another thing, Mexican Iron Man. The one time we did actually have a Latino villain on the screen, it's played by a white English guy. I mean, fuck me. I mean, seriously.
I don't know. I just thought his accent was weird. It was like, you adopted the night. I was born in it. raised in it. I'm like, does he need like some? I don't know what's wrong with his voice. Is it smoker? I don't know. The other
Well,
did
we're going to be
mention
wrapping.
he has
We're
one.
going to be wrapping up here, and I want to get back to our guest of honor here,
Yes.
and I want to talk some more. This is his channel. I'm going to share this real quick. Share screen.
Buy a
Boom,
book and
baby.
get on the list. You're gonna get some great invites, and make sure you subscribe. You have some great shows.
Graham's channel. This is a great channel, and he is going to have today, isn't it? Or no, yesterday. Yesterday you had Kevin and David in.
Wednesday nights is the storytellers. That's where I have professionals come on and discuss visual storytelling. So I've had Ramita Jr., Ron Garney.
This is my
Fred
favorite
Blevins.
right here, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Just an awesome episode right there.
Mm-hmm.
I have Spider-Man 500 signed by both the Ramitas as well as Campbell.
Nice.
I
love it.
love David Williams, by the way.
David is so talented and underrated. Such an amazing artist.
I just remember he attacked me one time for being Catholic, and I'm like, dude, what?
Graham, can I ask you a question in general? It's how do people get in touch with you if they want to like invite you onto a program in general? Because I know there's probably a lot of channels out there, a lot of people in the chat that are probably up and coming YouTubers. That
Yes, Stephen is actually a co-host to another great program, The Lunch Table with Lorena, and YetiCast does a lot of co-hosting with other shows that are really good, top-notch shows, despite having him on it. And, and
you think that one
You're
joke
not
off.
allowed. You're not allowed back.
Well, you can email me right at graham@compasscomics.com.
That would be awesome. I will definitely try to do that because I would like to extend an invitation on behalf of Lorena because I would love to get to know.
Oh, you would love to be on that show, Graham. You would really like it. Actually, I think I had already suggested it to you.
Can you write your email
in our private chat? I think I sent some stuff about them to you, and they're just really good people. They've got a really good grasp on the whole comic industry, film industry problem, and they're just good people.
Lorena's just fantastic.
Yep.
And that Stephen and Lorena together on that show, it's fantastic to actually be on. So
great. Excellent.
Thank you very much, guys.
Sure.
And
can we before we sign off, can we hit the campaign one more time?
Yeah, I'm going to pull that up again. Let me refresh it so the video's showing, and I will share that screen again.
Folks in the chat room can see it, and we can talk about it a little bit.
There we go. So let's take the last 15 minutes of the show, and let's get right back to this. What are some of the things that you're offering right now to people who contribute?
Well, you'll have to scroll. I can't control the screen, so if you can scroll,
scroll.
So the featured is the Ultimate Compass Comics swag bag. So you'll get all the Alien Alamo variant covers plus the main one. The Chenoo, which, as I mentioned, is connected to Alien Alamo.
Right.
T-shirt with the Compass Comics logo, a beanie, a 30-30 Winchester bullet. That's a keychain.
Wow. Oh, I like that one.
I like that.
And it says Alien Alamo on it because that's what Travis Houston, my hero, uses. He uses a 30-30 Winchester.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good gun. Good gun.
It's a good gun. I prefer the Marlin 30-30 because of the port. Winchester's on top, Marlin's on the right.
Graham, I gotta ask. You're doing the t-shirts. Please tell me they're coming in big boy sizes because comic book guys we're not like really skinny guys mostly.
Yeah,
we're big fatty fats.
When you order the t-shirts, I'll message you when I'm ready to have them printed to get your size.
Cool.
So it's whatever size you need.
Thank you.
You can buy Graham a beer for $10. Mm-hmm. You can do the Alien Alamo digital copy for $15, and you've got Alien Alamo wraparound cover. That's
the main one. That's the main book right there. Stretch goal has been hit, so that the book is now 64 pages. Its cover stock is a card stock, and just like the Chenoo, there's going to be spot varnish on it.
Oh, I love that stuff,
Nice.
man.
Yeah.
I do too.
People who don't know what spot varnish is, I'll explain to you. It's like if you have all this stuff that's color, it's almost a matte finish, but the one thing that's really wants to be pronounced is shiny.
Yes.
And stands out on that cover. They did that with my book Code Word Geronimo at IDW, and it really looked beautiful.
Yeah.
You can really see the stink bug here in that artwork.
And you notice how everybody looks in that cover right there. They look a lot like the actors that you were mentioning.
They do.
Yeah, that was by Butch Geis. He did that cover. That's one of the variants.
I love it, dude. I love that. That is really good. Come back up here to the Alien Animal cover B, $25. 32 have been claimed, so claim yours. I like this one. This is that variant cover you were just talking about. Nice. Let's see. Ashcan of layouts and script, $25.
Yeah.
15 have claimed that one, so
I had a weird question. How much are you ever?
Whatever you said, Graham, didn't get heard. What? Say that again.
That wasn't me talking.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Okay.
I was going to ask, is there going to be a tier where we can get like a mini cereal box of just all the green locusts coming out?
Oh, that would be cool.
Alien Alamo cereal.
Well, the cover itself could be a nice PVC diorama if they actually wanted to go down that road and had a good designer, like a book stand made out of the house, you know.
That'd be nifty. We got the 30/30 keychain for $30.
And that's signed. The box is
and I
signed.
saw the picture of you posing with these shirts. That's really cool.
Yeah, those are the printer messed them up, so they only made 12 of them. So I put them up here, and there's what do we got? We got 4 large left.
Purple just backed. It looks like.
Cool.
And Compass Comics.
Nice.
Alien Alamo and the Chenoo.
Yeah.
I fucking love that animated. The animated trailer for the Chenoo is badass. I like
that one.
Too.
The same guy did it. Nick Roche did both trailers for me.
I like them both.
Yeah,
they're great. Good.
The
stuff.
Chenoo is connected with Alien Alamo, so if you didn't back the Chenoo, there's your chance to get them both.
Well, when you get the third book done, you'll have your trilogy, and that's gonna be fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, at a minimum, there's you have that one perk. I think where folks that don't have it, you can get them both. I think it's just something like $50, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I love your roughs here,
but I would highly encourage everybody to go ahead and get. I think there's one that you have where they can also get Monster too. I think
Monster Island.
Yeah, you get that too. I think that one's 75 or something like that.
Yeah, that's Gary's got it up right now.
Right there.
Yeah,
and I want to go over these roughs you did here. I love these rough sketches you did. These are great.
Yeah, I was just playing with the characters so that when I sat down to do the pages, that I was comfortable with them.
Right. Just really good stuff.
Body language, all that.
You and Bonk both do really good rough sketches. I mean, to where I would read the comic just with the rough sketches. That's how good your stuff is. Alien Alamo, $75, and comic book grab bag.
That's 5 signed comics that I pick randomly from my 30-year history.
Nice.
Oh. Yeah, I added that to my order as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, motherfuckers better be buying that one. That's
I want to, but
I like there's gold right now. I added that to my order.
Good.
Excellent.
Alien Alamo 3-pack. I like this one with the variant, the different covers. And I swear to God, I see the kid from the Rifleman, man. I really like that. I was watching one of the Western YouTube channels that interviews actors, and they had a ginger actor that had been in a few John Wayne films, and he kept saying how he envied that kid. He wanted that role. No, it wasn't Harry Carey. It was he was in Shiloh. He was always played young boys, kids. He played them all the way into his 20s.
Oh.
And he was talking about how back in the 60s he wanted that role. He wanted it so bad to be on The Rifleman. He would sit in the mirror and say his line, "Hey, Paul."
Johnny Crawford was a Mouseketeer.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was one of the original Mouseketeers, he and his brother.
Did you watch that as a kid too?
I saw it in reruns because it was on in the 50s. So
yeah, it came out in the 50s, but yeah, I watched the reruns. I think it was on NBC, and I freaking love that, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch them on Sundays. Let's see, that is beautiful.
Oh, you're working with Aaron Lopresti.
Yeah,
Aaron
did the second variant cover.
Nice.
Wow.
This is some good shit.
These are retail levels here. You can skip those. Those
okay.
are for retailers to be able to.
I want to look at the artwork too, though, because I'm really digging your sketches here.
Mm-hmm.
Tonto, great dog. That's some good dog artwork right there, my friend.
Thank you.
Because you know, like yours and my first conversation was over the shit that we hate drawing, and you hated drawing Huey helicopters and the Predator.
Yeah, helicopters. Period.
And I said horses. And I'm good at drawing horses, and I fucking hate drawing them because they just have no expression. And so you anthropomorphize this a little bit, and I love that.
Absolutely.
The book I was doing was a history book, and I had to draw horses very realistically, and they only have like two expressions: calm and fucking terrified. That's all you get with horses. This is great, dude. Anything else you want me to go over with it? Ooh, look at that one. Wow. $1,800. Look at that. Toxic masculinity at its finest. All right.
Well, I want to share a. Where is it? No, that's not it. Hold on a sec. There we go. Okay. Can you share that?
I sure can.
Yeah. There's the first 5 pages of the story.
Oh, wow.
That artwork really calls back to an older time.
It's a completely different style that I'm doing for this thing because I wanted to really strip it down so that I could get to the emotional core of it. The more illustration, the more realistic you do it, the more nuance you lose. And I wanted to be able to just really push the envelope on the drama, the action, and the facial expressions, the emotion, or the facial emoting, if you will. So I just kind of stripped it down to a semi-animated feel to it. You know,
I like that.
Tothy, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's good. I mean, that's the idea I kept having watching all of this. Is like, I kept getting Johnny Quest vibes. So that explains that.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is the what's his name? Wildley, Doug Wildley.
Yeah, Doug Wildley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to privately share that email again with Steven so he knows how to get a hold of you in our private chat. There we go. Man, great episode. Thanks for coming on, Graham. I deeply
You're welcome.
appreciate
Thanks for having me, Gerry. Thanks for having me, guys.
I am so, I feel, and I say this all the time, I feel so lucky I have some of the coolest fucking people as friends. And,
really
but I joke
man.
that I don't really feel that I'm quite a person's friends until their wife follows me on Facebook.
Oh,
and,
Oh no.
And no, his wife, oh my God, she's the coolest lady I've ever talked to.
Okay.
You guys have like I almost envy your father knows best, almost like family thing that you have going. I love it. It's like your posts of family get-togethers and shit. And I'm friends with your daughter. Julia's, of course, a friend of mine. And Chuck's wife doesn't friend me, but I think that's because she recognizes I'm a dick. And
well, Elma's not on Facebook.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just want to take a dig at myself.
Well, you are a dick, but
it's true.
But
It's
you're
true.
our dick.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad you came on, and I'm going to get with you and Chuck and try to schedule to get the both of you on and do a show. I'll limit the panel so you two can really talk, because I'm going to prod the hell out of you guys and get you guys to open up and talk about shit.
Well, you know what? You can also go on to and rewatch my interview with Chuck on the Storytellers. He was one of my early guests, and the two of us go off like a bunch of old.
And that's of course on
talking.
Graham's channel, which I shared and has been shared in the chat.
So
subscribe to this channel. It is well worth it. The wealth of knowledge. I mean, it's going to be the sheer entertainment value is worth it by itself. But the knowledge that you get across with some of the people talking about the history of comic books. Talking about the careers, it's just really good stuff, Graham. And
thank you.
And I personally just want to say, man, I'm glad I have you as a friend.
It's
You're
good
cool, dude. You really are.
You rock, Graham.
Oh, thank you.
And hey, I want to thank my panel.
Thank you.
Which is Mike, Mexican Iron Man, Fat Steven, and Yeti Cast, my bros. And the guy I kind of tolerate, T-shirted historian, a.k.a. John.
Thank you.
You know what bugs me about you is that you're half Cuban. If you were whole Mexican, I'd be cool with you, but the whole half
I'm only
Cuban
half
thing.
You're just like my mom. I'm only half human because I'm only half Mexican.
Cuban.
The other half Cuban.
And I love doing shows with you guys. We do a lot more shows, Graham. We do on Mondays we do Raiders of the Lost Ark together, and then we do. We're getting ready to start a new show next week. I'm hoping with Fat Steven about the history of anime.
Yes,
and We're going to start really in the 70s because that's really when anime took off here in America, with Speed Racer and Marine Boy and all that shit. Did you watch
that was 60s.
Well, they came out in the 60s, but it was when they're being re-aired in the U.S. like from 1970 through 73 is when I got exposed to those cartoons on Channel 20 in Washington.
I still remember watching Gigantor in the 60s.
Yeah, Gigantor was the 60s.
28. Yep.
And Astro Boy was 60s for us, even though that came out in the 50s. But I was well into 1970, 71 when I first saw my first real good anime. Like Marine Boy, Kimba the White Lion were my two favorites.
I remember
Graham, weren't you part of like Racer X or something?
What's that?
So, didn't you do some work for Racer X or Speed Racer or something?
No.
The comics or something? No. Okay.
But I love that cartoon. That was one of my go-tos. You know, the whole song. You know, it's great. When he jumps out of the car in the freeze frame, and then they do the 360.
And the finger, the classic, what would become a classic comic hand, with that pinky sticking out slightly.
Yeah, so great.
Love that shit. And of course, my partner in crime, Keith, who I wouldn't be doing the show if it weren't for you.
I think you would, but thank you.
No,
Thank you
I had ample opportunity and didn't do it. I just I couldn't pull the trigger. I want to thank everybody in the chat. If I didn't get to, I apologize. There was a lot going on here. But Sean, Rebecca, I don't know if you can join us. Please try to join us in the private chat after the show. And with that, I guess we're going to do our little sign off here.
One second.
Oh, wait, for Steven? For Steven?
Graham, one favor, please. Please continue to have fun. That's all I ask.
Have fun. This is for
my
Steven.
whole life is based around fun. If I'm not having fun, I ain't doing it.
Then can you adopt me?
I'm at that point in my life, you know.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Amen.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Amen.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. I'm going to sign off, guys. I got to run upstairs and take a wicked leak. So
take care, Graham.
Truth in advertising.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks,
Bye
everybody.
now.
Have a great one.
Goodbye, chocolate mousse. I'll never forget you. Goodbye, Ducroix. Take care of yourself. Goodbye, Deja Vu. I'll always remember you. And I'll miss you most of all, Scarecrow.